Hello and welcome to Down by the Gram on Cam with me, the Grandmaster Kush, talking all things Amsterdam, coffee shops, and everything from the cannabis community. Joining me as always, I have my co-host, the Fade Fairy.
Yoo-hoo,
You
hello,
ready for
hello.
this?
Yes.
Got another one
always.
on.
Yes,
So
excited.
this week we've got the guys in from Teeside. We've got Michael, Tom, and Adrian.
Hello.
I got that right? Nice.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming along. So before we get started, I have a word from our sponsor, 21 by 20, life summed up. So you can pick between a snapback or a beanie.
Nice, I'll have a beanie, please,
I can't
man.
go for beanie
That'd be
as well,
awesome.
please.
I've another one upstairs. I'll get it for you in a minute.
Yeah. No,
I didn't think we'd have
yeah,
three on.
Mate, it's not summer now.
Yeah.
It's for the weather.
So yeah, 21 by 20 life summed up. They're not on general sale. They're just for the high society, the smoking elite for the moment. So, right before we get going, I'm going to ask just 4 questions in 20 seconds to see what kind of smokers you are. So Adrian, you answer, then we'll go along, and just so we don't have to ask everyone again.
Yeah.
So weed or hash?
Weed.
Sativa or indica?
Indica.
Indica.
Rolled or in bowls?
Vape.
Vape.
Rolls.
Rolled. And what was the first coffee shop you ever smoked in?
Oh. Forgot.
Yeah.
Route 66.
Nice that you mentioned that, because the last episode 12 we had a guy on and he was trying to figure out the coffee shop he was in that had a Cadillac in it, and someone messaged on it that it was Route 66. Do you remember if it had half a Cadillac in it? Was it near Pre to Me?
It was close, but I'd never been to Pre to Me
Okay.
at that time.
Because
but
someone
like,
commented saying I think that was Route 66 across
I'm
from
sure
Pre to
Route
Me the other day.
66 was, it had pool tables, so it had it downstairs as well.
Okay.
It had pool tables set out.
Okay.
And it was like, yeah, it was one of the maddest experiences of my first time in Amsterdam. I was
Nice.
just telling you yesterday about it when like where we were just having just with my pals and that, and then like the guys just came in and launched loads of weed on this back table, and like that was our like first just sorting through all this, and it was like the most I'd seen at that time. Do you know what I mean? So
It's
yeah.
an exciting experience when you first come over and you see it that legal.
Oh,
that
yeah.
volume. You're like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
When
the
you've come
fuck?
from the
I was
underground
only a
buying
little
50s.
guy as well, so I was just like around. I was only dead young as well. Like no, but I was like 16 or something, 17. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh, so you weren't even legally allowed in?
No, so
Oh,
like
nice.
it was one of them. But
That's even more exciting.
yeah, it's
Michael, what was yours?
I can't remember. It was information overload.
Oh yeah, that's it. Like I think back then there was so many you didn't even remember the names. You know what I mean? You're just shop. You know what I mean? You didn't have to. Now you need to know where they are, what they're called, where to go, the whole lot. But back then it was kind of like Farmerstrat, next one. It was like who cares what they're called? You know what I mean? There's just
I do remember the back end of a car in a coffee shop.
yeah, because that's what one of the guys said the other week. He couldn't remember the name, but he knew he had it was half a Cadillac. And I've had one person comment saying was the Blues Brothers, and someone else comment saying they think it was Route 66 across from Pre to Me.
I feel like Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
yeah, it might be. I can't remember it in the.
So if anyone knows, comment, because James Bond from episode 12, that was his first coffee shop. And he can't remember the name. He just
That's
remembers
cool,
the
though.
Cadillac
It
and
is
stuff.
cool.
So
I've got no recollection of my first coffee shop. But
mine was it's gone now, and I only found out what it was called because I ran into someone who worked there years later. I described it. He's like, oh, I know that. I worked there. So it was the Jungle. It was called. Do you know where Sláinte is on the Varmestra? So you know the Varmestra, the main street?
Right,
yeah. It was like if you come down there onto the street, like in by the Grasshopper, turn right, it was down somewhere on the right. I can't even find what building it was on. It's changed that much.
Yeah.
But you went in, there was like a little tiki hut on the right for selling the weed, and on the left was the bar, and there was these proper Amsterdam steps going straight down, and it was a low ceiling and 2 little pool tables. Like their ceiling was literally, if you were 6 foot, you were fucked. You know what I mean? And there was 2 pool tables down there. They had all these like. Indian masks, these wooden kind of masks on the wall. I remember being down there and like we had a space cake and a load of joints and we're stoned. They're playing this random. It felt like a house party at 6 a.m. when the music's just random in the background. We're just sitting there going, "What the fuck?" And then we left. It was like 4 o'clock in the day. It was bright outside. We're like, "You come out outside." Like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, it's a different experience when you're so used to the dark and you come out and you're like, it's the middle of the day. So it's like when you come out of the cinema. If you go daytime now, you're like, what the fuck's happening here?
Yeah, put you out of whack, doesn't it?
as normal.
Yeah, that's it. Everyone's just doing their life. They're like,
Day.
it's like bedtime. But yeah, so tell us a bit about your cannabis club.
Yeah,
Right, well,
Teeside.
we set up Teesside Cannabis Club in 2014.
Yeah.
Set it up in 2014 as more of a call of action. So my father passed away in 2013
Okay.
of cancer. Came into some inheritance. I went to Spain.
Yeah.
And my first social club experience was in Spain.
Okay, so you
Liked
got the
what-
feel for it.
Liked what they had, and I was.
I'll have a bit of this.
I'll have a bit, literally, I'll have a bit of this. Came back, set up a Facebook page and Instagram page, seeing if there was any support, and there was we have like some. It's not a mountain range. It's like hills, like Yorkshire Hills, like fucking Essex
Yeah,
Hills.
yeah.
So we'd got. There was like a field there that was out the way, but close enough for people to still be able to
Okay, it
access.
was accessible, but not
On the bottom of
not
the
in the middle of
hill
a city or a town or anything.
So I put an event on, and about 20 or 30 people turned up to that first event.
Nice.
And I knew there was a bit of an interest.
Yeah.
Fast forward 3 months later, and I'd done my first festival. Like only 200 or 300 people turned up.
Yeah.
Very small scale affair, but the police sort of give me a
feel for him.
a 12-hour, what was it called? I can't remember, but like a 12-hour ceasefire, not ceasefire, but like a
Yeah, kind of amnesty. Yeah.
So cracked on with that, seeing that there was support.
That was even nice from the police to come like,
Well,
right,
it wasn't
we'll
my
leave you
idea. I had
12
no
hours.
intention of dealing with them or having
No,
anything.
but then even that they
It was
came
the
with that.
people that were helping me in the early days with the with the
like legal
social
side
media
of-
posts.
Okay, yeah.
One of them was a barrister training from Malaysia who was at
Yeah.
university in Durham,
Nice.
and he was like, I feel I could like go in and conversate and perhaps strike up some sort of
be
deal.
the voice. Yeah.
So I was operating as John Holiday at the time, not Michael Fisher, but as John Holiday.
Yeah.
Like, I like my Wild Wests, like so.
Yeah. Keep it country.
So I went in as John Holiday. Well, I didn't go in as John Holiday. I'd built up this hype of
Yeah,
John
this
Holiday. And
alter ego kind of.
Yeah, the local press had got in touch, not the Northern Echo, which is like a regional newspaper.
Yeah.
And they'd asked if I would meet with them, so I said, yeah, I'll meet you as John Holiday, and I'll
Yeah.
do a story. You can't have my photograph. I'd sold weed for 25 years. Everyone knew me as Fisher.
Yeah.
I'd been gay
Yeah,
all
he didn't
over.
know that's not fucking
Well,
John
Fisher
Holiday.
or Mustafa Spliff was the two names that was
Okay,
on at the
yeah.
time, so I didn't want to like I knew Cleveland police would have shut it down straight away before I had a chance to get off the ground.
Yeah.
So it was important that like I was
It's
incognito.
this new
in the
guy.
early days.
John Holiday's a good guy. Don't worry about him.
Them outdoor events at the Talk and Talk. The first event, no one come who knew me. But
Yeah.
the second one, I had family and cousins that turned
No
up
way.
because they all smoked weed.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Oh, Fisher, is it yours?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "No, I'm just pointing to a
They
random."
didn't know
No,
it was
no.
your
Yeah,
event.
it was a complete secret from even my own family.
They're
And
ringing
then
you.
your family showed up at your event.
And I pretended the random bloke walking off in the distance was John Holiday. I went, "You've just missed him."
No way.
Like,
That's
wow.
hilarious.
So I then made my excuses to leave.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then everyone would talk when I'd left.
Like
Be
Bruce
"Oh,
Wayne and Batman."
I've spoke to John. Do you know what I mean? And they all had spoke to
Yeah.
Fisher,
Yeah.
but as John,
Yeah.
or John who just walked away.
That's
So,
hilarious.
like,
So the ones that didn't know you thought they were talking to him.
You know what I mean?
You
So
just missed him. I was like, where is he? He's over near that guy.
And then the press kept running stories, and the national press picked up on it.
Yeah.
And we ended up doing a few documentaries in the first 18 months, like were like national TV, like ITV. We had Jeremy Kyle come and visit.
Oh
the
yeah,
first
no
part
way.
of the
Get him
Cow.
stoned.
He didn't smoke,
Okay.
but if you look at the photographs in the video, he's stoned up his face.
Oh yeah, nice. Second hand.
And
Used
Big
it
Steve
well.
stayed about an hour and a half after we'd finished the documentary.
Oh, yeah?
Big Steve was like, "Am I alright if I stay?" And we were like, "Yeah, mate."
Of course,
So
nice.
he was laid on what was mad was for about 6 months later,
Yeah.
the indentation of Steve was still on the leather sofa.
Leaves a mark.
That's how
Yeah.
big he is.
He looks like he was a big unit on Jeremy Kyle. He was
Yeah.
a wide unit, but he's not that tall.
Okay.
Stocky
So like
unit,
he
not-
was really stocky, like
Yeah.
a wide unit, but not that tall. But
That's hilarious.
Jeremy
And left an
Kyle,
imprint for fucking.
nothing like what you'd meet on
Oh,
the show.
yeah?
Nothing like
Like in what way? Chill?
chill.
Okay.
Chill. Like,
normal
so
guy, kinda?
That only come about because my nana's like proper straight laced. My
Yeah.
granddad was straight laced. They raised me for 15 years, and like they'd have shot me into the police for the Cannabis Club or anything they could if they had that.
Oh yeah.
So Jeremy Kyle was a massive part of that issue because he was always like dead against the cannabis user, like the stereotypical cannabis user. So when
Yeah.
ITV got in touch, I was like, I'm not doing it. I don't like him. Don't think it's gonna. No, like it's
Yeah,
not
it's
gonna
not good
benefit
publicity.
the community
Yeah.
in any
I
capacity.
like that you stuck with that though.
And they were like 3 months later, still torturing me. So I said, I'll tell you what. Tell him if he comes to Teesside, meets my nana, and has a cup of coffee with her in Costa Coffee or somewhere, I'll do the documentary free. I'll do
I love
it.
that you're
like,
putting
well,
up the. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but it's moral standards.
Yeah.
You're not like, right, I
He
want
turned up
50k.
though randomly, like about 2 months later. They said, "Oh yeah, he'll agree to that." Right, about 2 months later, I got a phone call. Jeremy's at Costa Coffee. He said, "Where's your nana?" I turned up by myself. He went, "Where's Nan?" I went, "What?" He went, "Where's Nan? I'm not talking to you. Where's Nan?" Like that. I was like, "Phone down, Nana." I was like, "Nana."
He flipped the switch
Yeah,
on
I
you.
was like, you need to get down here now. So she come in.
Good job she won't
Pimping
be
out your
here.
nana.
He messed up though because he was like, Jeremy went, "So what do you think of your son being a drug, your grandson being a drug dealer?" And she just like went from loving him to instantly she was ready to stab him with a hat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I went to Steve, you're gonna have problems if he tries to wind her up like that. And he was like, I'm only joking, no, like, but what do you make of like the situation and how he operates and what's going on? And like, she liked it, and then after that, I agreed and did the documentary with him.
And is that available somewhere?
Yeah, it's still available to view. I think we've got it on our
Kyle
YouTube channel as well,
Files, and
but
I
it's
think
on the
it's
Kyle
on-
Files on ITV.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
must check
give
it
it a
out.
check
Yeah,
out,
for
yeah.
sure.
Season 4, episode 1.
Okay, I'll check it out for
Yeah.
sure.
So
and
we
on
did
our
that.
YouTube as well.
We did a BBC 3 documentary with Professor Green.
Oh, nice.
That was quite early on. I think that's called The Truth About Weed. We worked with them for about 6 weeks to 8 weeks on production, but we only had about 3 minutes in the actual
No
documentary.
way.
Showed them loads of stuff, showed them
Yeah,
places,
then you
links.
cut it all down.
We got about 3 minutes of airtime, but
Fuck's sake.
back then I was just starting out.
Yeah.
I sounded like a crazy madman.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Teesside
sell weed
Cannabis Club,
legally.
I've got this, we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
The police. So the reason that it existed and the reason that it all come into fruition was to actual Bricks and Mortar Club. Off the back of that newspaper story that happened in the April, although no one knew who I was,
Yeah.
that journalist had a contact number for John Holliday.
Okay.
Durham Police, my neighbouring force,
the
so I
same
live
number?
in Teesside. My neighbouring police force got in touch with the journalist and
Yeah.
said, "Do you know this guy? We want to meet him." So she got in touch with me and said, "You've got someone really high up at Durham Police that want to meet with you."
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm always remain true to myself.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
Catch me
of
when
course.
you can. Right, so she said, "Can I quote you?" I said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So she sent that back to Durham Police.
Love it.
And I said, "But you have to phone me and tell me what they say."
Yeah.
So she phoned me back and she said, "He just giggled." I went, "What?" She went, "He just giggled and said, okay." And I was like, "Well, what does that mean?"
Yeah.
I was like,
Where
that
do we
take
stand,
me?"
like?
It was home for a
So
bit of
I was like, "Alright then." I said, "If you had to speak to my police force and like other police," she went, "Yeah." She said, "I have to have a biased opinion on my story." She said, "But they're not interested." She said, "They said they couldn't give a fuck."
Oh yeah.
I went, "Well, tell them they will give a fuck when I finish." So I'd gone from like not wanting to know to I wanted to know.
Yeah.
that
What do you mean you don't know who I am?
So
I'm
we
fucking
ended
John
up-
Holiday.
Well, August I did that first festival, and a guy from Germany turned up as part of some German news thing
Yeah.
and some national press, and I knew they were going to take my photograph, which was going to expose the lie of
Yeah,
John
yeah.
Holiday, and Michael Fisher was going to be exposed. So that sort of happened, but not to the degree that I thought until 2015.
Okay.
So it did sort of local papers ran
Yeah,
with Michael
yeah,
Fisher,
but it didn't blow up
but
the way you
national
thought.
press didn't go with it. That wasn't until the following year.
Okay.
But Durham Police got in touch again with the press and said, "We'd like to meet with John."
Yeah.
So the exact words were, "We'd like to go for a cup of tea with
John Holiday.
Ask him if he'd go for a cup of tea, and if he won't go for a cup of tea, like,
We'll take him for a cup of tea.
well, no, that's what I asked. I said, if I
Yeah.
don't go for a cup of tea, am I going to have one uninvited?"
A forced cup
I
of
said,
tea.
"I'm gonna have an uninvited
Cup of tea against my will.
Yeah.
And I said, no, not at all. So I tossed a coin, which I do many times with big decisions in my life. I just went, heads I'm going, tails I'm not. Tossed the coin, it landed on the head. So,
So
like,
if it wasn't for that coin, we mightn't
wouldn't
have the
happened,
Teeside.
wouldn't have
Jesus
happened,
Christ.
no. So we ended up driving up to Durham, sat in Durham Police Headquarters. At this time, 2014, cannabis is as legal as it's always been in
Yeah.
the UK. And I'm smoking a quarter of cannabis in the car park, thinking, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm sweating. I had a criminal record anyway. I'd been
Yeah.
involved with
They're
criminal
walking
abuse.
into the
Now
lion's
I'm thinking
den.
I'm going into this place
Yeah.
now. Like, this is
Am
not
I
like,
coming back
Yeah,
out?
yeah,
Like, yeah,
exactly.
no,
My last
literally.
joint out in the car
Yeah.
before they go in.
So I've walked into the police headquarters with a guy called Trev Coleman, who at the time was doing some social media work for me on the pages.
Yeah.
And I've walked in and not realised that all them straight-laced people in there obviously smelt me, probably from the car park.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everyone's just staring, and they must have thought, this guy's crazy, he's got weed on him.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm stinking of weed. And I was like, I'm here to see the police crime commissioner, John
Forget his own name when he walks in.
Ronald Hogg. I was struggling when I went in, and like sweating through my top, sweating through my jumper, and they were like, looked at me and they went, "Does he know you see it? Like you here to see him?" I went, "Yeah." No, like, and then
Thought you were
all
handing
these
yourself
security
in,
doors
did they?
got opened, and I got took down. I opened the door and there was this guy there just waiting to meet me. This little old guy, grey hair. And he went, "Michael, not John, Michael."
Oh, so they knew who you were?
And he went, "I've had a room dedicated to you for 6 months. Why have you stopped selling weed?" And I went, "Because I knew you'd be looking." Like, just like off the
Yeah.
back, like I knew you would be looking. And he was like, "It's not sustainable." He said, "The business that you operate is not sustainable." He said, "Why are you giving it away?" I said, "I'm only giving it away to people that have cancer. I'm only giving it away
Yeah,
to people
so
that
for the
have
legal
illness."
loophole more so than
I
that.
was like, and he said, "Why?" I said, "Well, there's 33 people I'm working with currently." I said, "Now I know that if anything happened criminality-wise,
Yeah.
they'd stand on in court and say that I haven't benefited or made a penny
Okay,
from the
yeah,
work
yeah.
that I've done with them. He said, but it's not sustainable. He said, what are you going to do when you run out of your inheritance? And I was like, no, I just looked at him.
This police officer's giving you career
Yeah,
advice
yeah,
on your cannabis club.
Yeah, like
Nice.
to a degree. And he was like, "Where's your cannabis club at?" I went, "I haven't got one." He went,
Yeah.
"But you called Teesside Cannabis Club." I went, "On Facebook." No, like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, "I'm just
Fake
gauging."
it till
like,
you make
if
it,
there's- I
like.
was like, "I'm just seeing if there's an interest." He went, "You've been doing your events and that." I went, "Yeah." He went, "I like reading about you. Be provocative." No, like, let me keep reading about you. And I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, I'm reading my morning paper." He said, "I like reading about what you're up to." He said, "Let's get a cannabis club." No, like, let's see what
What?
happens.
The fuck?
So this was not like him telling.
What?
He just liked seeing the renegade attitude.
I like
And the
that
attitude.
they just sat back.
But also
it- no, it's
they
not-
you have to
proposed it
give
as well.
He's my
respect.
Like,
neighbour in Forster as well at this time.
so it
he's
wasn't
not-
even your local police
no,
force.
but he'd been a chief on my force. He'd then retired.
Yeah.
And while he was in retirement, he'd seen that basically on something on the news with his wife, Maureen. And he said someone should do something about that. And his wife turned to him and said, "You should do something about it, you run."
Yeah.
So he ended up running as police crime commissioner even though he'd retired.
Yeah.
So then he could try and do something to change policy.
Yeah.
So it was
Oh.
part of his plan anyway. He passed away sadly in 2019.
No
So
way, what a
he
legend.
wasn't right the way
No,
through
what
his
was his
plan.
name again?
Ronald Hogg.
What a
Ronald
legend,
Hogg.
man.
Yeah.
Honestly, for like to be in the
Oh,
So it's as much
the
as him.
force,
I
everything
didn't
there,
I
man.
forgot to bring it. That's what I've left at home. I forgot to bring a grinder. I meant to
We'll
bring
bring
it.
you one
We
back, yeah.
dedicated a grinder to him that
Oh,
we brought
yeah.
out called the
Oh.
Hog Grinder, and I've
No
left it in the
way.
hotel room.
Proper,
No,
right,
but-
rightly so. Like,
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
Just to like for us, we have our little gang, but a lot like just stand there, like even in your uniform, and then be like, actually, right, everything that I'm working for, I'm going against
Yeah.
nearly. You know, because
Because
I think
he sees what's right.
Yeah,
he sees what
they're
you're doing was.
wasting time
So
running
he-
after
he-
kids with a little.
He had his own reasons for why he wanted to, but one of the
Yeah.
main reasons was the Scottish village that he'd visited, or that he'd come from.
Yeah.
There was an old lady that he'd known her for I think 40 or 50 years of her life.
Yeah.
She was 85-year-old. He said he'd been an officer for 30 years, and 30 years ago he'd met her,
Yeah.
and she was offending and an alcoholic then. And he said she's 85 now, Michael. He said, and she's still offending. He said she's still getting locked up. She's still. He said doesn't work. He said no, like policing doesn't work. He said,
Yeah.
if it did
Yeah.
work, he said like a different approach needs to come in. He said, and the way
Yeah.
to do that, he said, is people like yourself.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I can't remember the name of the officer, but he told me that an old officer had told him years ago that it was down for people like him
Yeah.
to enforce the law, and for people like me to change the law.
Yeah,
And that really
nice.
resonated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Really.
That's why I pushed then, and I went
Yeah.
on overdrive. So from that first meeting in the September of 2014, it wasn't like a golden ticket or anything. It was
But it
like
was giving you the
No,
confidence
give
to
it
me the
was-
go.
confidence to say at least one person's
Yeah.
going to stand on, and that's a
Yeah.
meeting that's been like he emailed.
You've got a bit of backup from
backed it up.
higher up,
that's the
like from
biggest
authorities.
fear is that you're going to get locked up
So
and everyone
we
as
ran
well.
with it.
Yeah.
We ran with it. It was me running with it with my alter egos, but I ran with it. Like changed my profile picture to me with 15 or 20 cannabis plants, which at the time were in my back
Yeah.
garden.
Okay.
But I just photoshopped a bit of the background to look like it was somewhere more public.
Yeah, yeah.
Press went wild. I'm like, can you take us to where these girls are?
Yeah.
So it built up some
Love it.
hype and all like for it. We had the BBC wanting to do them documentaries and stuff on top of that.
Yeah.
So it built a load of press, and then 2015 there was an election coming back up for crime commissioner,
Yeah.
and the Daily Mail decided to like try and target me and target Ron, and the relationship that we'd built up.
Yeah.
Because obviously it was going to sell papers for them, and it was
Yeah.
going to create some kind, or they hoped it was going to.
Copper and a drug
Yeah.
dealer kind of headline.
But the public all stood on for us. They thought it was brilliant and groundbreaking, and they were like thought this
Nice.
was something that really needed to happen.
Yeah.
So the Daily Mail did another 4 stories, I think, or 3 stories over the next year and a half, and they were all positive pretty much. Now, like,
Nice.
even with my
Nice.
website link about to sign up in them, although it was still having a go,
Yeah.
I was getting so many hits and sign-ups because they were pushing me out there. The Guardian had us on the front page, the
That's
Times had us on the
unbelievable.
front page. We've been in Russia Today, you name it. we've been
Russia
Russia.
in it.
today.
Yeah.
Come
Oh, good
on,
lad.
man.
You name it,
Putin
we've
sitting
been
there
on it all.
watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we've been on it all, we've seen it all. We've got celebrities that use the club, no, like
Yeah.
So what kind of celebrities have you had in?
we've had UB40.
Oh, nice,
Ah, I
nice,
love it.
legends.
They're the ones that we've had in that have actually come in to smoke. The rest of them, it's been when they're in the area asking for
Okay.
like
Come get a
favours.
photo or something.
no favours, Molly, and smoke and
Okay,
stuff like that.
yeah,
when they're in the
yeah,
area. They don't want to be caught in the club. They don't. wanna be
Yeah,
witnessed
no,
in the
a lot of
club,
celebrities
so-
try to keep their image a bit cleaner.
Yeah.
Keep it
So
chill.
it's just trying to keep people protected. But UB40 wear our t-shirts and brand on tour.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
really
Savage.
supportive of us.
Legends.
Keep in touch with us like on a weekly
Yeah.
basis,
Nice.
monthly basis.
And where's
chat
the
to them.
club based?
Our club's in Teesside.
And where is Teeside? I don't know England that
Oh,
well.
okay. So do you know where Newcastle is?
Yeah.
We're 30 miles south of Newcastle.
Okay. And what Newcastle's the nearest city to you?
Sunderland would be the nearest
Okay,
city.
yeah.
That's
I
probably
was in Newcastle a few
20
years ago for the Stags, and we went
20
to
minutes away, I'd say, Sunderland, and 40
Yeah, we-
minutes to Newcastle.
when we were in Newcastle. We went to a Sunderland game, so it's obviously not that far
Next
away.
time you're over, or if you end up over,
Yeah.
give us a shout, come see
Oh
us.
no, I think we'll just
No,
take a trip over just to go and check it
absolutely,
We'll
out.
get you
for
on
sure.
our podcast too.
Yeah,
wouldn't we?
man, 100%,
absolutely,
yeah,
that
definitely.
was banging.
Yeah.
But
It's amazing what you are doing. Like, was it, like, I think as well, because I was thinking of it this morning, like, just even though I've had the balls to go out and, like, create a social club in the UK.
I've always liked to go against the grain. So
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
I had an escort agency before I had the Cannabis Club, but it
No
was a
way.
harm reduction escort agency. So
It
I
was a what?
provided harm reduction escort agency. So I provided drivers and security for the girls, and they got a bigger cut out of the. No.
Nice.
It was
Yeah.
all about giving back to that community.
You're
and
really
then-
trying to
Nice
recreate
though.
Amsterdam in
I've-
England, aren't you? With
Yeah.
hookers
So,
and coffee
and at
shops.
the time, I'd never been to
Feel it.
Amsterdam.
Oh, yeah.
I'd never been.
If you had a
You're
game here, you would
right.
just open windows in a coffee shop
So
instead.
I had the escort agency, then I got raided for a drugs raid. The police found the escort documents.
Yeah.
Asked if I'd have a chat with ICE. Went and spoke with ICE, and they were like, "We love what you're doing now." They went, "But the law changes in so many months, and they
Yeah.
went, you're gonna fall foul of us when that happens." They were like, "We think it's great what you're trying to achieve."
Yeah.
But I wasn't making no money. It was costing me that much on
Yeah.
putting drivers out and everything.
Yeah, yeah, just for
glad to be out of
security.
that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're
So
just minding.
I just
yeah.
was done with that, and then I opened up a pizza shop and had Pizza Diablo for a little bit, and then
So from hookers to pizza to cannabis.
Ah, pizza's
Pizza-
up there.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
wasn't
more
going
legal.
on.
It's a bit more
It was
legal.
like a roller
Food
coaster. You're up
is
there
Yeah,
with the
but you're
hookers.
thinking on like
You
the
come
other
down to
things,
making
so, like,
pizzas
yeah.
for people, mate.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I feel like I've got more to give than this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm more just on the receiving
So
end.
then,
Getting
The Cannabis Club never
Yeah.
set out to really make happen. When I was at 2013, when I said I'm going home to set one up,
Yeah.
I didn't actually open the first bricks and mortar one until the Christmas of 2015, like
Yeah.
spring 2016. And I did a Christmas party
Oh,
advertised
nice.
online,
Yeah.
and it was £20 a ticket. We didn't supply cannabis or nothing. It was
Yeah.
just £20
Bring your
a
own.
ticket. It was a shithole, a garage
Yeah.
that I'd put a
Just
log
a smoke
burner in,
session.
and it was just a smoke session.
Nice.
Yeah. And we took $7,500 on the door.
Jesus
So I knew there was an interest. So I
Yeah.
was like,
Jesus Christ.
right.
That's not even selling weed.
But I put
No,
no
no.
selling
That's just
weed.
entry.
That was just entry.
But
So
is that not showing how
well, I
big
put it
this
live on
community
Instagram
is?
and Facebook for the police and council and the powers that be to all enjoy with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the press were like, "What are you fucking doing?"
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I was like, "Don't do anything."
Yeah.
I went, "Leave it at 6. I'm doing a New Year's party." And they were like, "What?" I went, "If I haven't been raided by New Year's, I was
Yeah,
like,
we'll keep going.
we'll keep going, we'll smash it." So
Fuck it.
by the 1st of January, the press went wild. They were like, "He's pulled off a Christmas party, a
Yeah,
New
New
Year
Year's
party."
party.
You know, like
It's a new
So-
year.
it
Yeah.
built the hype up. But I knew that we weren't going to get raided because Cleveland Police and Durham
Yeah.
Police had backed it. Okay,
Yeah,
go
no,
ahead
really,
and do it.
100%.
Obviously, I didn't trust that we weren't going to get raided or
Yeah.
nothing, and we. But
Yeah.
like
You'd say there's probably the undercovers
Yeah, it's like
not floating in. but if they're not
2011,
doing
I'd been
shit-
remanded by a bunch of bent police because I wouldn't turn grass on my friends, basically,
Yeah.
and I was set up for witness intimidation, attempt murder. And then you fast forward to 2014, and I'm having a meeting with Ron Hogg.
And he's
Yeah.
telling you, why don't you set up a club? Like,
You know, I'm like, I'm going to set up a cannabis
Fucking
club,
hell.
like this, that.
that's mental.
So it's been, like I said, you couldn't
Yeah.
write it, you couldn't make it up.
Yeah.
We've had funding in COVID to keep open off the council.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Government
What?
funding.
Over 70 grand we received to stay
Jeez,
open.
that's amazing.
So deemed us as not an essential business, but
Yeah.
that we needed to stay open for mental health, for people's mental health
Beautiful.
and well-being. So we
Yeah.
rebranded with a click and collect
you-
that
you-
was Stockton Public
Okay, yeah,
House,
you weren't allowed to have people in, like,
Yeah.
you still just take
went
away.
down
Like,
the legalist route as we could
yeah,
without like.
that's the best way
straying
to
from
do
that.
it, yeah.
And so you can legally sell THC
You can't
flower,
legally
or
sell THC in the UK without having a license from the government. What we do is redistribute THC products from our members back to the members, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we take a cut from that. And
Okay.
that's what
We
as
charge
the
a
club's
service for
operating. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not charging for the flower, you're charging for the service.
We're charging for the service.
Okay.
Get it.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's
Smart
it's
though,
similar
yeah.
to the Spanish
The members
Yeah.
literally
loopholes.
dictate the price to us. So if we we could have a strain on one week that's £30 an eighth or whatever,
Yeah.
and the next week it might be £40 an eighth. It's because it was cheaper off a member that week. That we passed that on to the members. Do you know?
Oh, okay.
So
So
like
it's.
it just
So I was going
And
to
that's
ask you.
even then the quality's probably
the
really
quality
nice.
has to. We have better weed than any.
I'd
I
say so.
honestly,
I'd
because
say so.
especially if you're getting it from people, like you can imagine them walking into his being
Well,
like,
if Tom
"Guys,
had
this
supplied
is my
us,
next batch." You know
don't
what I
want to be
mean?
slagged off by Adrian when I say, "Oh, Tom sorted some nice bits out."
Well,
like,
I also
like,
don't-
it's
I
fucking
don't-
shit. It's full of seeds.
Yeah.
I don't want to smoke
Hermes.
shit myself.
Yeah, no, of
Yeah,
course.
You know what I mean, so if I'm
100%, yeah.
growing it myself, I'm gonna grow it to the best
Yeah.
of my abilities,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. If the quality's
That's
there,
what I was
then-
going to
then
ask
we
you. Is
can-
what is the growing situation? So your members grow for you?
No, we don't. We don't encourage them. So the early form of the club back
You don't
2016
Yeah.
was we'd encourage you to grow, shared collective, all of that. Once it
sort of thing.
once it built up to like the 200-300 mark members, there was enough people coming in where they'd be like, I've got like 5 ounces spare, like a couple of plants to drop down. You wouldn't buy them, would you, mate? You know, like,
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll be competitive with the street to
Yeah.
a degree,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to pay ridiculous prices too because we've got rent and overheads.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, of course.
It costs us probably about 10k to stay open a month, doesn't it? Where we
Jesus
are
Christ,
going.
yeah.
Over that.
And like that's just in
Fucking hell.
wages for
That-
people
yeah.
and paying for. No,
Yeah.
like,
That's what I
so-
always say to people here when like you'll get street dealers. So say a strain is 14, 15 in the shop, they'll come up to you €12.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not paying 50%
You haven't
tax.
got
You're
no
not paying
rent, no.
electricity. You're not
Yeah.
paying rent. You're not paying
No.
wages. Why are you getting €2 cheaper than these shops
Yeah.
are getting? You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
go, should be half price if not more. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
100%.
Literally.
And that's what. So we try and pass that back on. So the reason that
Nice.
we've succeeded where many others have failed. Yeah,
no greed.
There's other clubs that have been open, obviously, in the UK. There's other people that have tried to do what I do. They've been met by the police raiding them, shutting them down.
Yeah.
What sets us apart that I can say this, regardless of whether we get raided next week, next year, 10 years from now, or we stay open forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got raided in 2018 and the police signed us off as a community hub, left us open with the cannabis on the in the shop.
Didn't take anything.
We've operated since then. Most recently in September,
Yeah.
we give evidence to the London Mayor Commission, Sadiq Khan's commission,
Yeah.
about how our club's operated for the last 10 years, how the shop operates, our turnover, the inside, basically, mechanisms of how we operate,
Yeah.
in order for them to look at ways to implement that in London.
Oh,
Wow.
well
We are
done.
trying
Well
to make
done,
the moves
lads.
that need to be done. If I wanted to sell out and we
Yeah.
wanted to take the easy ride, we could have done that in 2018. I got offered £1 million from a company in America
Take over.
to rebrand us. That 51% rebrand us them. I
Yeah,
get 10
that
years worth of
1%.
salary of £100,000 a year salary.
Jesus Christ.
I knocked it back. I had an out as well then.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And I've got 2 kids. At the time, I had 2 kids. I've got 4 kids, like 2
Jesus
step kids
Christ.
as well. But I had 2 kids that were dependent on me.
Yeah. And
And
you
I
still
would've-
said no.
and I still said
Believe in your
no.
dream,
Yeah.
man. That's
And I've
beautiful.
had times where, if you look
Yeah.
at pictures on the net, you'll see I'm skinny,
Yeah.
10 stone and wet. I was ill with my stomach a lot. But
Yeah.
also, that was down to, I had to feed my kids and my pets over me sometimes, and pay rent on a club,
Yeah.
and then work it as well.
You're
didn't have
literally
staff and stuff,
physically
I
was
running
doing
it
yourself
all.
And
down.
that's it.
And
Someone puts money in front of your face. You're like, do I give up on all
Yeah.
this and
Yeah,
like take the easy
no.
way out?
And
And
then
you
running
didn't.
festival on the side or whatever else, it was
Yeah,
always
that
not
Yeah.
like.
is graft.
So
It's
there's
a lot
always
of
been
graft.
people helping me in along the way, but
Yeah.
having people like Adrian and Tom and Millie that work and run the club now, this
Yeah.
last 18 months, the club has gone from the Stone Ages,
Yeah.
Strength to
or the
strength.
Stone Ages,
Yeah, the stoned
Yeah,
ages.
love
To the
it.
very stoned ages.
to like now we're really setting levels. We've got training programs in place that we can offer out to police
I
forces.
seen
to
you were
train the
closed the
police.
other day for a training day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
but
nice.
That was a staff
So,
training day, yeah.
In
Yes,
what way? So to train the staff about.
Oh, yeah. In terms of what we've got in training programs.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, the
yeah.
training programs that we offer is to what is it www.exhaleharmreduction.com.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's so that gives council and police training and harm reduction services training. So they're outdated services. You've got police that don't have a clue about what the real rates of cannabis are, what the prices are, what the street prices are,
Yeah.
how much equipment is. I've gone as a professional witness in Crown Court against the police in cases I've been paid to go as a professional witness.
Wow.
I've got over a decade.
Like an expert witness,
yeah,
kind of.
expert witness.
Nice.
So I've got over a decade's experience in this kind of industry and in this
Yeah.
background. And I feel that we should be implementing these skills, especially when
Really,
we're advising
yeah.
government officials, advising think tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important that we capitalise on that too with our brand going forward. So
100% before, like, they take
Yeah,
over
before
and
they take
try.
yeah.
This
Try
is
and
how
educate
you do
them.
it because you haven't worked from the
No.
ground up.
Exactly.
You haven't bought the 50 bags. You haven't grown in
I've
a
sold weed
wardrobe.
since 2002. The
It's
police had raided
yeah.
me 9 times at my home address over the years for cannabis. Never caught me with no more than an eighth of weed or a quarter of weed.
Yeah.
Always personal use. And they knew I was never involved in class A's, never took class A's, never been
Yeah.
involved in any serious drugs.
Beautiful.
But I was a stoner, and
Yeah.
I always had to sell weed to pay for my weed. It was never that I wanted to sell weed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were
But it
never
was
like
a
selling bulk like it's
Hell of a lot
now
cheaper,
you are.
bro, to sell half of your bud. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And fucking pay for your
yeah.
bud. And that was all
That's
it
it.
was
Just
ever
so yours
about.
a bit
Yeah.
cheaper. That's it.
Just
But
common
no,
sense,
it's
being smart
it's
as
good.
well.
Like when we were on with Captain Hoover, you know Captain
Yeah, I
Hoover.
was seeing him later on. Like,
Yeah,
so,
nice.
Yeah.
And he said when he went to his doctor here, like, are you still smoking that weed or something? He said to him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
good
we
that
did, yeah.
like the police, the doctor, people need to be
We
educated on
advise
weed.
doctors
Like,
as
yeah,
well,
you know
as
what I
well,
mean?
like-
I've had people pass out downstairs, and I go up and you have a doctor there, and they're trying to do all this fucking put them in the recovery position. I'm like, he
Bit
just
of
needs a bit of
sugar.
sugar, mate.
Yeah, there
The
we
doctor's
go,
there
straight on,
panicking. I was
yeah.
like, here, mate. Like, I mean, I'm telling the
Yeah.
doctor,
Give
get
him a
out of the
can of
way.
Coke and-
I'll look after
yeah,
this
yeah,
patient.
yeah,
You just
yeah.
sit down and smoke your joint. Like, they're not educated on it. They don't
No.
understand.
And that's the
like,
thing, but they're spending something like 1 day on it,
Yeah.
if that, or half a day
Yeah.
on the cannabinoid system, or
Yeah.
like CB receptors, all
Even
of that.
to
Even
know
do
that
that.
you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that.
Yeah, half
Most
doctors and
don't.
fucking
No.
nurses.
They
No.
don't. I have it
and
all
it's
the
the
time.
whole way
Like,
through the system.
Yeah.
Like,
even with my background and with like everything in
Mental.
my own doctor's know what's what, I can go into hospital and end up arguing with specialists and
Yeah,
having loads of
you're
hell on.
educating them.
Yeah, and they'll be like, and I'm like, just Google what I know and who I
Yeah.
am and who I'm around, and the professors that have advised me and tell me shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then tell me that I can't tell you what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know, like,
It's
'cause
madness, isn't it? Like,
they have a
the leaders in
degree
the
and a
industry
book.
in the UK that get the licenses are all friends of mine, or like these
Yeah.
people that are like Professor Mike Barnes. They've all like worked their way up through the ranks themselves over the years. These are the people that advise the government. These are the people that give the government like how they can get their licenses, how they're going to import this, how they're going to export,
Yeah.
how they're going to give safe access to patients and whatnot.
yeah.
Brilliant.
So
Because
like,
you do have a good medical system in England, don't you? The cannabis medical.
It's the one of the biggest
They have a bigger
grows
growers.
in the
No,
world.
So
is
it-
not?
Okay,
So
I'm
we
hearing
have-
mixed reviews then.
Yeah, no,
But
No,
it's not
it
good at the
exists,
moment,
but no
it's-
one knows. It's 5 years in now. It's
Yeah,
been
because
legal
I've
for
talked
5
to
years.
like I've talked to people that come over here and I'm like, do you have a cannabis? Because if I heard there was one in Ireland, I'd be like, how do I get this?
Yeah.
Do I chop a leg off? What do I
Yeah,
have to
no,
do? You know what I mean?
This is exactly why we're doing club to put that
Yeah,
forward
to
as
let
well.
you know there's access
We
to it.
partnered with my Medica, which is a medical cannabis clinic in London. So
Nice.
not only do we offer what our class is we are as a legacy dispensary, so we are basically the old school way. If you want that legal sweet prescription that you can obviously be stopped by the police,
Yeah,
can't
you
take
can
it
go
off.
where you
I've
want.
travelled over here with my cannabis because I've got that legal sweet
Nice.
prescription. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially coming to Amsterdam as
so
well.
you
there'll
can
be-
Yeah.
just fly openly on a plane.
So
With how
my
much?
case was full of all of that there. Plus,
I was thinking
plus
when you
bags of-
had this, I was like, is this actual joints?
Yeah.
How did you get these over?
there's
So
no
this is
weed
your
in them, they're
medicine?
just
They're not
empty
filled,
tubes.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's
But-
still banging. But,
But
even
the
with
weed
all
was
this
in the
stuff-
bags and the pots that was on top of them. I haven't got them. I haven't got the
And
photograph.
did
of
they
them,
even
but,
open them, or you just?
No, didn't even bat an eyelid.
So if you hadn't had it, you might have got through anyway.
Well, I've got my prescription letter with me. I've got my FP10 letter, which is what
Yeah.
you legally have to produce. I also had the letter from the clinic that said I was legally allowed to carry that, plus another 70 gram of weed that I'd left at home.
But what I'm
So
saying
wait,
is,
did the security even?
Not even.
so
didn't
if
even
I
look.
had have come through with it without all that, I might have got through.
You'd have probably got through anyway. Well, oh, right, okay. I'm not
What?
saying that I've done this.
Yeah.
right,
How many
but I'm
times
saying
have you had to produce your papers?
I've been.
What?
I've only had a prescription once.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this one time. But I've been abroad many times, and I've took up to 8 ounces of weed for me sometimes on a plane. like,
8
and,
ounces
like,
just walk through.
stuck to
And
your
this is
balls.
I would
Stuck
have
to your balls.
lost.
And this is before the prescription.
This is before.
Oh,
now,
I
they
thought
can
you
pull
meant
me
just
in now,
in your
bro. I ain't doing
bag.
that shit no more. No,
Yeah.
like, I'm happy to talk about it, but like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're only
Up until
talking
that
about it
point.
because you don't do it
No, I
anymore.
don't do it.
I
no,
thought
no,
you
no.
meant
well, wasn't
now,
it?
Yeah.
just today.
No, he said before he had the prescription,
Yeah.
he'd thrown with eight
Oh.
Like,
ounces.
I've drove with it. I've drove to Spain countless times, just taking it in the boot of the car and shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you've just got to have that cold
Yeah,
stare.
no,
do you know what I
like
mean?
again,
Bars
you
of
just,
hash, 100-gram bars of hash, like it's nothing. Like
you just
it's
have to
my
forget
mobile
it's
phone,
there.
yeah?
You know what I mean? And just act
Because
like you
to
know.
me,
it's
weed is
normal.
legal. That's
Yeah.
the thing, no, like,
It's
who are
like
you to
boxes
dictate to me a plant that's
Yeah.
been existing for millions of years?
Yeah.
You've decided that I
Yeah.
can't have
Suddenly
access
nature
to.
is illegal.
Sod
Like,
off.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
They hadn't even
So,
decided it.
I
have
live
they?
that.
It's
I live my
amazing
life by
way,
that
yeah,
mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like, I'm not condoning doing that, but like, yeah, I wouldn't. I'm willing. So the way I've always looked at it is, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You get caught
Yeah.
trying to take a couple of ounces through, like for yourself. You're going away for a couple of weeks
Yeah.
or whatever, and it is personal use. You're not no big drug dealer.
Yeah.
They're only gonna fucking stick you back to the UK or
Yeah,
send you back
that's
there.
it.
What's
Tra-
the?
Slap you on
I've
the
been in
wrist.
cells. I've done a little. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no
But,
great
like-
hardship. Do you
and
know
like-
what
And
I
I
mean?
suppose I think more people, like, we're not promoting like
We're not promoting it in any way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
I'm
if it
more
happened.
just people need to kind of nearly the way you're saying that policeman said we make or what we enforce the rules, but
So
yous
their
can
job is to
change
enforce
them.
Yeah.
the rules.
It's
People
kind
like
of
you
that
is
we
to
need
change
to
stuff.
kind of nearly
Normalise, well, not
pushing
even
on it a bit.
show that it's not as bad as it is. I
Yeah.
mean, half the reason I want to do this podcast is make it so normal. It's like
Literally.
I wanted to make it like a breakfast show where we just
Yeah.
smoke weed. The weed, we don't sit here going, look at this weed, look at this weed. It's just people smoking weed, talking about the real stuff
And
they
this
do
is what
and
we
normal
did with
stuff.
the If You Know You Know podcast. I didn't want it to make
Yeah.
it about strain reviews
Yeah.
and like this, sorry, this, that and the other.
Yeah,
I wanted to make it more about stoner talk, people
Yeah.
talking.
Literally.
Everyday life, have proper guests on, no
that's
like
it. What do you
influ-
do
yeah.
while you're stoned? Not
Yeah.
like not what are you smoking? Like when you're
Yeah.
smoking, what do you
Yeah,
do? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
'Cause
we're not all just sitting around the
productive,
couch just
no.
going.
No,
That's
exactly.
nice, isn't it? You
You
know what I
can
mean?
I've
It's-
just started
Yeah.
it though, the podcast though, haven't you? It's
We're only on
literally, like,
episode
fresh
2.
out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. How
If
do
you know, you know.
So have you
Like,
you've
yeah.
done two or you've
Two.
oh, you've
We've
done
done
two?
two.
Nice.
Two
And
out.
Sketchy.
Still finding the
Sketchy.
feet.
so
How
who's
we
on
are.
it? You three?
Tom's
I'm
dropped
not
out
on it
'cause
yet.
he's
No,
like-
I've not had
he was
the
trying to drop out
official
of this today.
Oh
invitation.
yeah.
It's my first podcast.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So now
That's
like,
hilarious that
now,
you do a podcast and your first podcast is their
Yeah.
podcast.
yeah,
Popped his
so
cherry
I'm
now.
good
Yeah.
at it.
You'll be
You're
done killing
ready
it now when you
now.
go home.
Yeah.
I'll host this
I'll,
week. I've got it.
I'll get on if you know.
We've
You
got
know.
other
Yeah.
staff that are here with us as well, but they've
Yeah.
gone to the Anne Frank
Oh, you
house.
were saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't done the Anne Frank house.
So
So
we've got
fucking coming
Millie.
here 20 years.
I've never been.
I lived one street away from it for a year, and it was during lockdown, so I don't know if it was open, but I've still never done it. Like it's, I've never done the Heineken Museum. I've never done Anne Frank's. I've never done the tulip fields. I'm still just going to coffee shops every day. You know what I mean? I'm still a
We
tourist
did
over here.
we did a bit of what was it? The two swords and.
Madam-
Two
I've done that.
Swords,
I've done the
yeah.
Madame Tussauds.
Not
Yeah,
this time,
yeah.
but last time.
Ripley's, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're more.
I went to go
small
there
boats and
during
stuff like that.
lockdown with my sister, and she was over with my nephew, and it was like 3 days before they got rid of the QR passes. She had it because she travelled over. I didn't. We walked up. Sorry, did you have yours? Like, no. It was literally 2 days before they were cutting it. My sister was over here for like 2 days, and they're like, no, sorry. So they had to go in. I'm just standing outside, like, fuck you.
Aw.
Like,
Oh.
so I've never been to Ripley's, but it looks cool. Like,
So did you fall for the QR?
no, I never got involved in any of that. Like, I literally, I've never been tested.
Never go abroad, mate. Me, I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
If that's the one, to stick that in
Yeah,
me.
I never even got a
I
test.
jumped
I was
when I
literally
could.
like, no
Yeah.
vax, no test, nothing. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
I just didn't. I, in my mind, I didn't do it. I didn't. Like, I mean, you can do it.
I
I'm
refused
just,
to comply,
Yeah, I
but
mean-
I had staff that were working for me at the time. You weren't working for us at the time, were you? You were still at.
I was still at BHF.
But you complied, didn't you?
I did, but
Look at the shame on the shame on his face for
my
complying.
thing was
I
from the
love
down.
it. I haven't
Shame.
like brought it back up to people, but I do
I like
want to
to
like
bring it
throw
up.
it back at them.
I like to bring it up.
Oh, you did just say.
Like I do,
Yeah.
don't I, Adrian? With
The
everyone.
only
Yeah.
because I was living with my mum and dad at
No,
the
yeah,
time,
but the thing
yeah,
is,
see,
like,
there is
this is
I do have to. a
Yeah,
lot
with
of
the
this
older
people
ties
people.
back
yeah.
to I give
I
my nana
jumped
the option.
country and
I
was
said,
like,
"Do you
fuck
want it?"
it.
She went, "Do I?" Son, I ain't getting it, so why are you gonna?
Yeah.
Like, so I was
Yeah.
like, right.
But that's my parents are at home. I lived here. I mean, I wasn't worried about me being
Yeah.
sick. I
Yeah,
wasn't.
that
I
was
wish
that.
my
Yeah,
dad
that's
wouldn't have
right.
it anymore.
Yeah.
Is he still getting them?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my
he's
my mum
addicted
said she
now.
tested
He's
positive the other
addicted now.
day. It's still a fucking thing. It's
I
ridiculous.
think it's mental that
Yeah.
it's a thing.
I think it's now just a thing like flu,
It is just a
cold.
flu
but
jab now.
that's all it ever was.
Yeah, no, again,
Yeah.
but I think
Oh, it was
the
about
initial
money,
That's all
wasn't
I
it?
think
Yeah,
is.
and just
Oh, yeah.
it was
Yeah.
seeing. I am a big conspiracy
Yeah,
theorist. I don't give a
I was
fuck.
gonna say we're
I
not
think it was a way for them to see
can they control the masses?
Yeah.
Like,
No way.
How many
Can it
people
work?
complied?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Not
If the
many.
wo- if
I
the-
fucking jump shit.
no, a
Me
lot of
too.
people
No,
did
I mean,
though. You know
like,
what I mean?
Yeah,
We've seen
but I
over
don't
in the
know.
UK.
That's all over the news.
But-
It says.
no, but you-
People
you can
like,
see-
seen it with
were
our
you there
eyes.
at the marches?
You could see the empty streets. You know what I mean? Whatever about
Yeah.
few at the marches, we're talking
We were
the
driving
masses.
around because we
Yeah.
had
Masses.
essential business to go to, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I seen how deserted them roads were. I seen
know.
people
Dur-
complying, people with the gas masks on,
Oh,
the face
yeah,
masks
yeah.
on, you know, like
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hey, they're
but
masks.
some people just they don't know. They don't think for themselves. If you're told something, they'll do it.
I
So
remember
that's
when
why
we-
laws work. That's why people don't travel with weed like us. You
it
know what I mean?
felt
They're
like a zombie
oh, we
apocalypse.
get caught all the time, do we? We better not do it. We're like, you probably don't get caught most of the time. You know what I mean? And you just
Yeah.
think like that. So
They have the best at what they do though, aren't they? Really.
Yeah.
What
When you
happened
look
to
at
these
it,
people
like,
dying in the
doing
street?
it
Remember the,
because
Oh,
the
yeah.
Chinese news?
Yeah.
where
they
they-
promote it and
I never
how
witnessed
they
any of that in
no,
the
none
UK.
of that. Like
No.
You know what
so-
I mean? I can see how everybody jumps on ship,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
for the mass. So it's
I always say the last
it's-
time I watched the news was when China were trying to build a
Not that
hospital
I
in a
agree
week.
with it,
Then I
like,
just
you
stopped
know.
watching the news. That was the start of it. That was
But
before
did
the
you see how
spread.
quick they shut up them Nightingale hospitals? Do you know what I mean? Like, we're a
Yeah.
big waste of money because of the
were
overflow from these
massive, yeah,
hospitals.
yeah,
Yet then we were seeing news stories saying that they're empty. There's no one in them.
No.
They're not getting used.
Yeah.
Our local hospital was saying that they had COVID wards galore full.
Yeah.
And then I've got friends that worked over in the hospital and were like, there's
Empty.
people on there, but they're not like
Yeah.
overflowing.
It's
It's more
mental,
like
Yeah.
isn't it?
Just
But
louder.
like here, it was crazy. Coffee shops were were probably got the most essential work. Like at
Yeah.
one stage, all shops had to close. Some were allowed open till 5, and I think the supermarkets were allowed open till 8. Coffee shops were still open till 10, 12. You know what I mean? So
Good that they
the
kept
the
them
whole
open.
city had to close, and coffee shops were essential
Yeah,
workers.
it's
Like, so it was
essential, but-
amazing. Yeah.
Literally.
like so the first lockdown, I had to sort of comply just to show I wasn't going against the grain.
Yeah.
So I shut the shop. I think it was only about 2 weeks or something like that. Or it might have been a bit longer. I can't remember. But when we reopened, it can't have been too long. But when we reopened, 3 members had been sectioned. We'd lost 3 members into mental health services where they were sectioned, and that was because they couldn't access safe
Yeah.
standard and
Yeah.
quality of weed that they were accessing from our services.
Yeah.
And they'd had to fall back into the black market supply. The black market supply had triggered them and sent them off into a spiral. And like, it
Jesus
just
Christ.
Yeah,
so,
no, but so easily done.
Yeah.
So easily
so
done.
that was my
yeah.
catalyst for why on the second lockdown I
You're
was like
essential.
point blank, I'm
Yeah.
essential.
Yeah,
Do you know
it's
what I mean?
like
this is how it is.
when they
No,
shut us
big
down
time.
day one, they literally said I think it was March something 2020, and they said right, you're closed for a month or something like that. We're like grand, blah blah blah.
Feel like we might have done a month. No,
Yeah,
like
it
maybe
was
on
so,
that
but we
first
were
one.
told a month, and next day I'm like, fucking, I'm off for a month. I might go home to Ireland or something. Next day about 4 o'clock, we weren't even closed 24 hours. We're back open. You're in work at 5, so I think we closed at 6 on the Sunday, and Monday at 5 we were back open.
So our second one when we reopened, we
Yeah.
shut on the all of the UK had to come to a halt at like 5 o'clock on the Wednesday or something
Yeah.
like that. We got the call from Stockton Public Health saying, "Can you close today and reopen Friday as a click and collect service?"
Yeah,
So the opposite sort of thing. They shut us down, but only for 24 hours
yeah,
until
It's
we could
probably just
reopen
to
with
get
the
yourself
just to
website.
show you were
correct.
complying, kind of.
And once we had the website up and running, didn't
Yeah.
do no checks, didn't come round to see if we were compliant or anything.
Nice.
We just,
Okay,
they
yeah.
Just knew you would.
I think it's because I've been quite honourable over the last decade,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm quite
And if you're upfront and you work
quite
well
upfront,
with
yeah,
them, they're like,
forthcoming,
Yeah.
transparent, or
yeah, we know what he's
Like,
we
about.
don't
You know what I
bullshit
mean?
them, don't lie.
Yeah.
If they want, like, we've had coppers turn up and I've been like, come, like, they'll be trying to read the riot act. I'll be like, come in. I don't think you know about me. I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
you know
yeah.
about this. Come in.
Yeah,
and have a
you're
look
wasting
around
your
and
breath
see
here.
what's
Let's
what.
have a.
Would you
Like,
have like random kind of like rookies or young
Trying to make
kind
their
of come
name?
in and
I've
be
had
like, what's
officers
going on?
in the past
that don't
phone
know.
my landlord,
Yeah.
threatening my landlord, saying you could get 14 years in jail and this, no, like, no, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
But yeah, currently I'm up at court in January because of a targeted traffic officer who reckoned that I was. You can let your viewers decide and
Yeah.
listeners decide, but so she stopped me saying that I had a drugs mark on me for cannabis.
Okay.
I got out of I'm in a 4.2 camper van,
Yeah.
4.2 ton camper van, right? That says you know on the number plate, so it's pretty damn
Ex-Bobby
obvious.
van,
that-
I
Yeah.
mean.
And it's an ex-Bobby
yeah.
van,
Yeah,
smashed through
ex-Bobby
the
van.
windows, so you're
Fucking
fucking
hell.
roads,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I've just done a Politics Joe podcast, which had at the time 600,000 views, maybe a few more.
Nice.
Just done that. Everyone had seen it in the dog. It had been local. It had been all over. No, like everyone had seen it. And then she's driving past with another officer in the passenger seat. They look at us. I'm sideways on. They're there on the main road.
Yeah.
Me and my partner pull out. I've got an infection in my jaw at the time, in a tooth. I'm going to the chemist. I've been in bed for 3 days. I'm going to the chemist to pick up an emergency prescription
Yeah.
from the chemist. Literally is the only reason I'm out in this van because my car was in the garage. So it's a probably 7-minute drive there and a 7-minute drive
Yeah.
back.
You think nothing would happen?
No, should have happened. Driving past, they go straight over. I've turned left onto what's like our local road called the Longlands. I'm going over there. 2 minutes later, see blue lights coming. Said, well, I'm getting locked up here. She went, why? I said, for them to be pulling us.
Yeah.
I said, it's bent in the first
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
I said, they're pulling us. I said,
Yeah.
something going on. I said, so I'm getting locked up regardless. She went, reason to believe you use cannabis. I said, well, I should think so, considering I've been working with you for 10 years. Documentary evidence. In fact, I was like, and I've got Teesside Cannabis Club XL harm reduction. I said, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I was like, and I'm a medical cannabis user, and I've been campaigning for that for 10 years. And had a prescription. I was like, obviously,
this one's cracked the case.
You know
I think this guy smokes weed.
Her colleague couldn't apologise enough. He was like, I'm just doing my job. I'm sorry. I wouldn't do that. But she's his sergeant. So she's like, oh, just give us the swab, Michael, and wait on your way. I said, I'm not giving you a swab. I said, look, there's my prescription. That's my FP10. There's my letter from the clinic.
If I test positive, it's for a reason.
And there's the I said, I got banned, a 12-month disqualification in 2018, even though I had a letter from my hospital saying that they couldn't give me cannabis oil, but I could make it myself, because that was the only thing that tripped my stomach. I said, the judge accepted that, but said, because I give a swab, I had to have a 12-month disqualification. I didn't get a fine. Didn't get any court costs.
So you're off the road for 12 months
because of that? I was off the road for 12 months, even though that judge felt I was as legal as I could be.
You were taking your medicine, but sorry about that.
So this time round...
Oh, because you gave it.
Yeah, because I gave the swab. He said I entered into a contract with the Crown. That's what the judge said at the time, right? Now, I was told by that judge as I'm leaving court, he said to me, Michael, because I said, what do I do if this happens again? He said, if you ever find yourself in that situation again, Michael, you refuse the swab. He said, you'll get locked up just the same as they're locking you up for the swab. He said, you'll be processed. He said, you'll find yourself in a court. He said, a judge will throw it out. So I got locked up. Well, so I got stopped by the officer. My partner's in my van. I've got cannabis with me in the van, but not on me, so I said I didn't have nothing with me. Didn't search the van. No drug search yet. There's a cannabis marker. No drug search went down. I said, look, my lass is insured on the van, you know. Is she? Yeah, okay. He ran over and said, oh, lass, you can leave if you want. He's not, alright. So she's gone with my van.
Get out there with the weed before they do look at it.
It was only my prescription anyway. It wasn't like it was all legal.
If you had found it, no problems.
I was looking for you at that point. I wanted you to find my fucking prescription. Let's roll, put me in the cells. No, like let's
give
get
me more to fucking
because it's wrong. No, like they shouldn't be targeting people.
I respect that you're so willing to put yourself out
I had no
there.
better.
Really,
I was only going to go home and chill in bed. Put me in a cellar lane now. No, like makes no difference. I had an infection in my mouth. Fuck you. You know what I mean? I'm not going to bow down. Their job, right, is to oversee our bullshit. That's why they're called officers. Do you know what I mean? Because they're the overseers of bullshit. They're not there to serve and protect. Because if they were serve and protect, they would be protecting people like me, protecting people like you.
That's it. Like
so, why am I then having to explain myself in court? Why am I even having to explain myself at the side of the road when I'm just not a Joe Bloggs? So you can Google search me and there's 22 fucking pages on us. You know exactly who I am, love. I've just moved to the area. Well, you haven't done your job then, because what you pulling me for? Not knowing who I am. When the backup you called for, he turned up and knew who I was.
For backup as well. Jesus Christ.
She tried to say I was driving off because I couldn't stop where my van had stopped, so I jumped back in the van and pulled forward a few feet. She said, oh, I thought you were going to drive off there. I was like, what in that? I was like, behave.
Slow way pursuit down the fucking...
60 mile an hour flat out. You know what I mean? Like, where am I going? You know
someone cycling along beside you, knocking on the window, like, come on, mate.
She was just, to me, hell-bent on trying to either make a name for herself in the station or just getting a collar on me and getting me off the
She had a bad day, she just wanted to take it out on you.
So I've refused the swab. They said, right, you know you're going to be locked up. She was like, my shift finishes in 6 minutes. So she's toddled off with the other officer who stopped. So now this poor guy who's been driving past, who's back up, he's now tasked with taking me down to the station.
Because she finished in 6 minutes.
Because she finished in 6 minutes. She felt she could squeeze me in.
Just on her way out, little. I'll get that done on my way home.
Yeah, so she didn't even finish her paperwork.
Stuff like that.
I'll get her name on the creation, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. I was nearly finished and I said, I'll just do a little bit of work before I go home.
Do you know what I mean? Trying to give it big legs, trying to get a little feather in a bow or whatever, but you know what? I couldn't give a fuck, I'm not asked. It doesn't bother me.
All she got was a few hours of her time, like that's it.
She got a few hours of my time, I ended up at court. Solicitor, up north where we live, mate, is backwards. Down south, solicitors are all clued up on it. Up north, we're like, it's not legal for you to work. I was like, look, mate. Like,
I've been doing this for 10 years, mate.
I was like, I'm telling you now, legally, I only have to present this, and this. I said, if they'd have followed pace at the side of the road, they would then have to, once I say I'm a medical cannabis user, by law, the Home Office guidance tells them that they have to do their own research. If I presented evidence, they have to then ascertain whether that's true. If it's true, I shouldn't be given a mouth swab or anything.
Or arrested.
Because you know that I'm a medical cannabis user unless, and these like circumstances, I'm driving erratically, or there's been reports made against me or any of that, obviously then you would
or some sort of crime of some sort.
But not for the sake of, there's a cannabis market. So now we've gone to the court case. they've said, oh, why are you going not guilty? I was like, because I'm not guilty. They're like, well, there's no lawful reason to refuse a swab. I was like, the judge told me to refuse a swab. I said,
Yeah.
in this very court,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
told in 2018 to refuse a swab. They were like, a judge wouldn't have said that. So I was like, well, we're going to trial.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to find it in the records what was what. So fast
Yeah.
forward a couple of months later, we go to the pre-hearing, and the judge says, why isn't this evidence being found? So the judge looks into it herself, and she's like, they haven't. She said, like, there's no record being made, no, like, of what was said in that courtroom. She said, but there isn't in magistrate. She said, in Crown years.
Yeah.
She said, unless the judge had made personal notes, sort of thing, there wouldn't be any record.
Yeah.
So she was like, it falls down to your evidence. Now, I never expected the justice system to
Yeah.
do any justice here. Let's be honest, the
Yeah.
fools, if they fucking think that I was going to go
Yeah.
into there and believe that everything was just going to magically
Yeah.
disappear.
Yeah.
If that was the case, I would have been NFA'd. It wouldn't be wasting taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be any of this. Some cunts hell-bent on trying to make a name for themselves or trying to push this through to get a 3-year ban. It's not going to affect my life in any way, shape or form.
Yeah.
I'll still be about all over. People will be driving me about all
That's
over.
it.
Won't slow
You
me
get a
down.
lift off somebody.
Won't anything, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'll
These
get a
lads
driver.
are chauffeurs
Stop
now.
me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's no shortage of drivers around me.
Yeah.
It just makes me get to sit in luxury.
That's
The
it.
Jag that I currently drive, I'll be a passenger in one.
Yeah, there you
Sat
go.
in the back.
In the back seat.
Oh, so painful.
Don't do that to
having
me,
drive my
please.
own car again.
Yeah.
They need to grow up and stop wasting time. Focus on real crime, real offences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with Cleveland police as a whole, but coppers like her, I think are a disgrace to the
Yeah,
badge.
no, that's
A
it.
disgrace to the
It's
work
It's going
that
for an
Ron Hogg
easy
does.
collar, you know
It's
what I mean? Instead of going for
yeah.
a real criminal who might actually, you know what I mean, might be a bit of
Yeah.
work.
And
You're
like I said, you know,
this-
she's
this
gone
stoner.
up buzzing with herself, thinking she's got some big collar.
Yeah, she's won
And
a
she's
little
done
war, a
nothing.
little battle. Like,
And like,
Especially when you have the retired,
Yeah.
gentleman that passed away,
Ron-
saying you need to make
and
a
this
social
is the thing,
club, you
so
need to
when
make a
Ron
change.
first approached me, the reason that he
Yeah.
approached me, the back catalyst of why he approached me was the Home Office had pulled some of the funding that his force was meant to get. They were meant to lay off 50 police officers. Ron approached me because he thought that if I was the face
yeah,
of like something that we were working together on, like
Yeah.
to push forward, he wanted to legalise all drugs. So his police chief, Mike Barton, actually came to Amsterdam and looked at the way that the police over
decriminalisation
here
over here.
did the decriminalisation of
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
drugs and how they could focus on this, that, and it. So that was their model that they were based. That was
Yeah.
their ethos.
Nice.
Now, when I met with Ron was like, "Look, Michael, we've got to lay 50 officers off." He was like, "I think that if we could go after more serious crime,
Yeah.
and we had someone like you,
So if we could make weed more legal, we don't have to worry
If we
about
had
that. We
someone
don't
like
need
you,
as many
yeah.
police.
taking like," he said, "if I stand up and say what we want to say," he said, "people
Yeah.
demand I'll stand down from
Is
this
it
job."
like, why chase some guy selling a 50
Yeah.
bag of weed or an ounce
So
of weed? You know
focus
what I
on
mean?
serious crime. If
Yeah.
if you bring
Yeah.
kilos of it into the country, or if you
Yeah,
grow
that's-
kilos of it, you're a serious organised crime.
Yeah.
But the little man down at the bottom of his few
Growing a
ounces
few
weed, growing a
plants.
few plants.
Yeah.
Why are we focused on
That's
them?
it. Wasting
Now,
police
Durham
time
Police
and money.
became the only outstanding police force in the UK for 3 years, running off the back of this initiative, working with
Wow.
Teesside Cannabis Club. The only police force in the UK for 3 years, outstanding.
Yeah.
And that was because he was able to focus on serious organised crime,
Yeah.
sex traffickers, murders, like
Yeah.
proper crime,
Actual
gang crime.
criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actual proper serious shit that cleans up the streets.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it showed with his force, but the other flip side of that is he took on 200 new officers, all documented, all in the public media.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of saving that money and having Teesside Cannabis Club fly the flag, you'll see in, if you search it, Durham Police have legalised cannabis, John Holiday, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It was all just hype. I could literally at that time say anything I wanted to the press and the printer. So I was just
Yeah,
saying, to Ron,
fucking with
don't
them.
worry.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, we've
You know what I
legalised
mean?
weed.
And we were running with it, and it was
Yeah.
just like, and then he was like, "Oh, people like this will say," and he'd have to distance himself for a few weeks and be like,
Yeah.
"People like this will say anything they want to." Get, you know what I mean? And that was how we pushed it and tried to make forward. But he told me to always protect myself, always make sure that I made sure there was backup, basically, like
Yeah.
something that was like he said, if you speak to someone on the phone, follow it up with an email.
Okay,
He said,
yeah,
so
yeah.
there's
So
some
it's in
kind of-
writing.
Yeah.
It's formal.
So
Absolutely,
we've
yeah.
worked
Yeah.
we've had referrals from the NHS, we've had referrals from doctors, private healthcare, we've had referrals in from the job centre, department, work and pension, you name it. But I've got all the paperwork to back this up too.
Yeah.
I've got the
So you can
paperwork
show
to
all the
back
good
up from
you've
the
done.
Yeah,
council.
literally.
All the meetings with the police, from the backdoor meetings where they want to do them off the record, there's still a bit email trail.
Okay,
You
yeah,
get-
yeah.
because I know
Yeah.
how quick yous are to try and throw me under the bus,
Yeah.
try and stitch me or set me up or try. I've
So
been
yeah,
down
would
that
you
road
have
with
all the
instructors,
legit
so
stuff?
I'm more than happy
Yeah.
to show this
Yeah,
and give this out to the media if it's needed to go out there.
yeah.
But I'd just happily continue providing the service to the community that we
Yeah.
provide.
And that's all the extra you have to do just to make sure
Just
that
to make sure that you're
stays
safe,
legal
so my
and
kids still
can
have a
grow
father,
as
yeah.
well. You know what I mean?
Because
So that-
otherwise, I'd be taken off the streets and I'd be locked up. All for what? Trying to do the community some
Yeah.
good. And that's the
trying to
thing.
give somewhere
The
people
very
to.
police force that came
Yeah.
in called us a community hub, said these should be everywhere.
That's
Love the branding.
beautiful.
Yeah.
The reason I operate as if you know, you know. That brand is because it used to say Teesside Cannabis Club on it
Okay.
in the logo. And Jason Harwin, he's now retired, but he was the chief of Cleveland Police at the time of our raid in 2018.
Yeah.
When I met with him after the raid, I was like, so what was the outcome of the raid? And I was like, we're still open. He went, I know. And I was like, yeah. So I was like, what does that mean? I was
Yeah.
like, what does this mean? And he was like, you're doing the right thing. He said everything you said in that business plan. So what I did is, 6 months before that raid, probably about 3 months before that raid,
Yeah.
we met with the police chief council, so that's the 43 police forces,
Okay.
the chief of them, and we give him a business plan.
Yeah.
And that business plan was basically the ins and outs of how that club operated at that time in 2018 to the latter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it would either be intent to supply or a business plan depending on what country you were in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was honest with that, and I said,
Yeah.
I believe this is groundbreaking. It's already been given out to 3 police forces, but I was told by them that you should really see this and be given this.
Yeah.
Give them it. They loved it. They pushed it out there. Off the back of that, we had 8 forces that wanted us to open up and implement it in their area.
Wow.
The elections came round. Them police chiefs that were in and the crime commissioners weren't re-elected, and we lost all them areas. So
Do you think? I don't know. My brain's just like.
Gone conspiracy.
Yeah, that was well. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That all of them didn't get back in.
yeah, well, this is
That's
the
a
thing.
bit of
Right?
a-
Every officer that's ever stood on, or any politician that's stood on,
Yeah.
if it's been so, we had a period of about 2 years after all the media hype and documentaries where we had big players like the Times coming, like the what's the shitty one, the Sun, like the Sun, and a bunch of Channel 5 even documentaries and stuff like that. Loads of stuff got
Yeah.
made on us. Nothing seen the light of day. It was getting pulled by editors where the
No
journalists were
way.
phoning us and saying, I don't understand how this has happened. No one's giving me no answers.
Just
They were always screaming conspiracy. Do you know what I mean?
fucking
So there
hell.
was a period where someone in 2018ish
Yeah.
was definitely trying to like stop the public getting
Trying to
behind
slow
us.
down the
Yeah.
wheel, like.
We're a decade in now, so like I said, like, how are you shutting down something that's got a decade's
Yeah.
worth of fucking backing
Yeah.
behind it,
Yeah, no,
paperwork
it's-
behind it?
I'd say
It's
you
become
kinda,
an
you
entity
nearly
now,
need to
it's-
keep it. That's
yeah.
why it's 10 years for a
Like,
reason. It's not
September
an
we
overnight
were
job.
advising like Sadiq Khan's panel, no, like that. I don't think you can get much bigger than that.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a city. You know what I
yeah.
mean? That's London, isn't it? London
Yeah.
City. We're a little shitty town up north, no, like
And leading the way.
an
like.
iron ore town, no, like that had the mines, no, like
And-
that's where I'm from.
Is there any other clubs that have been given the green light the way
No.
you have?
Not like us.
No.
There's other clubs that operate where police have said if you don't go public, we'll turn a
Yeah,
blind
yeah,
eye,
yeah.
sort of thing. Rah, rah, rah.
So you need to go public.
I went public pure and simply because it's a lot hard. The reason
And do you mean you personally or
Or
the
the
club?
shop.
the shop.
Okay.
Oh.
So the
Okay.
shop went like from 2014-15. Everything was on Google Maps. You could literally go to wherever my building was. Well, before I had a club,
Yeah.
I set the club as Teesside Magistrates Court as a joke. So that was just as a little bit of a joke, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and then once I had a bricks and mortar club, I set it to the proper like
Yeah.
locations.
Yeah.
We've always maintained was
And
legal
you
and
have
legit
just the
as we
one
can
club
be.
still?
We've had other ones open and not stay open because COVID hit and shut down
Okay,
the one that
yeah,
we're trying
yeah,
to
yeah.
open up. We've had people try and get on board with us opening other ones in other areas.
Yeah, yeah.
We get loads and loads of business requests every month where we've had to
Yeah.
set up a separate like thing just to deal with them.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
The issue we've got is unless you can meet the criteria, so we need your police crime commissioner or your chief executive council leaders.
Yeah.
They need to be the ones that want to approach us
Okay.
because then we've
Yeah.
got all the paperwork, all the modelling and backing to shut.
You've
Yeah,
no
there's no point
worries.
even
But
talking
there's
if
so many
the
pie in the sky.
powers
that
that be don't
yeah.
agree, yeah.
And
But I think as well, it should be that because then any lad or any young one can just go and open it.
Yeah.
You guys have put in a lot of hard
It's
work
all
to get
there.
this. You can't just be like, I like selling weed.
Yeah,
let's
I wanna
a
open
club."
And that's the problem.
No,
a lot of
there's
people
a
do
work
that.
and a
They
job
get 20
behind
grand
this.
or 30 grand. They're like, oh, fucking 300 grand. And they're like,
Yeah.
I'm done, I'm out.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
mates
Like-
want to sell a
Yeah.
quick few
Yeah,
quid, like,
no,
I mean.
No, it has to be
Like,
responsibility.
our most recent, like, inquiry was from the guys behind Tyson 2.0.
Oh, nice. I know
arrested.
them.
Well,
Yeah.
the guy, is it Chad Bronstein and the other guy?
I know
Not the ones that have the shop, I mean
Oh,
the brand. No, Ric
Oh,
Flair,
okay,
Drake,
okay, yeah, yeah. I know
and
that one.
Tyson in New York.
Yeah.
And the actual.
Okay, yeah. No, I know the guy who's on the ground here that kind of founded their shop in Amsterdam. I don't know these guys.
Right, well, I've never met him, but I would meet him.
Yeah, I'll introduce him.
No, the guys, like the American guys that are behind, like the actual brands. So he
Okay.
owns Ric Flair Drip,
Okay.
Tyson 2.0.
Yeah.
I think he owns a Hulk Hogan edible or something like that as well.
Everyone's getting their own
Yeah,
brand.
yeah.
and stuff.
So this
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
basically
yeah.
just presents the brands.
Okay.
He got in touch and asked if we consider rebranding as a Tyson 2.0.
Okay, because
So there's still interest in what we're doing and what we're retaining.
Because I know the only reason I know this guy, we met him in 2018 maybe. He came into the Joker and he was sent over here to find Tyson's shop, and then he ended up having to go back. And one of my mates was kind of still his man to ground, and he started doing it on their behalf. And I think they were close. I'm not going to say these names, but they were very close at one shop a few years ago, and like to the very point of signing. And then I think it all pulled out. And that was back when it was Tyson Ranch. Before it was Tyson 2.0, when he had the whole, he was doing the holiday thing. So that's what they were trying to, and they were nearly had a franchise here, and then it all went, and then COVID happened, so they probably gave up. And then suddenly I just heard they were coming to town again with Tyson 2.0. They're
and
trying
the way
again
that they've got the marketing team behind this is the marketing team specialise in this kind of thing. So the guy that I was speaking to, it wasn't Chad, it was his business partner.
Okay.
And his name slipped my mind now, but I feel like he started in produce or something.
Okay,
He had a different background completely, to the weed industry.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Jumped ship 10 years ago. He just fucking knew how to market strategy.
It's crazy.
See, there's a lot of that going. It's a lot of marketing and that stuff. People are like, we'll sell whatever weed, but we'll put in banging packaging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's,
You're just like,
I have a big problem with these packaging.
But we've
is a
got
bit of
customers like that. Don't deal with us because we won't give you fancy packages.
Well, that's I
they'll
hate
buy on the street
these new
shit
packaging,
weed.
man.
It's so easy to get any type of package. You can shot anything in there, can you?
If you put that, people think if it's in a fancy bag,
it looks in a nice bag. It's like, oh, I've got some fine.
I fucking
and
hate
double
it.
the price.
Yeah, that's the worst of it. And they're paying for the same stuff they were paying half.
Yeah, I just think if you have to put it in this big fancy bag, you're probably putting less effort into your weed than you are into your bag. You know what I mean? It's just
because you're not
shining it up. You know what I mean? No, it's we're making a brand. We're not like good weed doesn't need a good package. You know what I mean? Like it will sell it. Put it in a bit of foil or take it off if it's good. You know what I mean?
It's American market. It's fine.
Remember when all the tins were the rage?
Yeah, well that's still a little thing in the UK.
Okay.
You're still getting people that are buying Cali and saying
put
that
in the
top
pop tins.
Put in the pop tins and charging like 90 quid.
I used to say if people pissed in a tin and said it was liquid shatter, they'd be like, I'll take that. You know what I mean? Once it's in a tin or a fancy bag, people are like, I'll pay €100 for that.
But it's killing us over here, the prices that are, because like obviously we're not used to that.
That's
what it what's
do you want a drink actually? Just what?
No, I'm good.
And you want a drink? Coke, Sprite, Fanta, water?
No, I'll dash a Coke.
Coke, yeah.
I have got like
Fairy?
fancy juice in my Coke.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, thank you.
There you have it. Show that down to the fairy first.
And yeah, I was wondering, what is the price wise? Like, what would it be about a gram?
We don't do grams, so it's all like oh no, we do.
Well, when we don't like sell it typically as grams.
Yeah,
it's like
it's not sold the way it's sold here either.
But if we have, once we get our apes, if we have maybe a couple of grams left over, we'll knock them up, and then depending on obviously what
the
we
members ask what we charge.
Okay, you accommodate.
Usually it's around about £10.
For an average a gram?
Yeah,
an average a gram, but that could
or something like that.
Yeah, £10 to £12 really.
That's it. That's my kind of my go-to price. You know what I mean? I don't pay more than that really, unless even when I do pay more, I'm disappointed every time. I'm like, what did I do that for?
We will get premium ones, but we very rarely.
You don't do Cali or anything?
We do have Cali in, but it's supplied by a coffee shop.
Okay, nice. And you keep it at a lower price as well?
It is lower than the street prices.
Yeah.
Still, we do get charged quite. It's quite expensive still. What I feel.
Yeah. When you're trying to provide a cheap service for your customers.
But it's cheaper than obviously other options that we have, and it's something that we were always staunchly against. And then members have literally requested.
We never push it on members.
So
it's
an option that's there for them if they want it.
If they want to
treat
themselves a little,
But a coffee shop that's over here, and then there's one in Spain, and they've got one over in California.
Yeah.
They're predominantly. They have a UK guy.
Okay,
and the UK guy tends to be. He's a member, so he tends to supply the.
Okay, nice.
And are people allowed, like, would it be like the coffee shop? People can come in and consume?
No, so it's
Oh, yeah.
Can you bring her
that's-
own?
That's mainly
So-
what what
So
it
it is
yeah.
a space to blaze.
The front shop's like your
Nice.
dispensary, sort of American
Yeah.
style dispensary, sort
Yeah.
of counter.
Bit of a head
pick up
shop.
with a bit of head shop blown in, with a
Yeah,
bit of
true.
just like your countertop down here.
Okay,
sort of
papers and a
all
few
through
other
it,
bits.
yeah.
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 all blended in. It's a little like mix of everything that you
Nice.
see.
Yeah.
I've literally
Got
there's
testing
not one
as well.
size fits all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've took a little bit of everything what we like
that
and we put it
Somebody
into
will
our-
be into
Nice
it.
Yeah.
though, yeah.
We have an awesome club though. Like
Yeah.
our club where they can go consume their products
Yeah.
is mint. You know.
And
what
how
I mean?
big is it?
It's
1470 square feet or
Wow,
1500.
so many
Yeah,
people would you
I
fit
mean,
in?
we've got a stage and for
There's a
live,
stage,
live
music
we have
every week.
live
Yeah.
acts,
We'll
definitely
local
take
I
a trip
was
over.
honestly,
Not-
like, I
not
can't
like
lie, I was
stage,
expecting
but
like a
it's not
gaff.
super massive
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anything,
yeah.
but we've got it there and we
100
make
people
use
and-
of it.
Yeah.
It's
If you
awesome,
can
man. Like
bring
it
that
really
type
is.
of energy,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
vibe,
yeah.
it
That's-
doesn't matter if it's a box as a stage,
Yeah.
that's savage.
I've always
Oh,
like
it's got curtains and everything and
Yeah.
lights and that. It's
Nice,
proper.
yeah.
cozy, like, yeah.
What size projector have we got in there?
Oh,
that
that's
comes down
280
there?
or 200 inch or something
Yeah,
like
so we
that for
do movie
movies.
Mondays.
Oh.
So
Oh,
movie
man.
Monday, every Monday.
Literally every
like-
idea I've had in my head about.
Yeah, no,
I've
you
always wanted to buy like an old
stop
school or an old something that had loads of random rooms and like have a cinema room here,
Yeah.
a quiet room here if you want to do a bit of work, a
Mate, we've-
TV, like a sports
Literally,
room
we
over
just got
here.
one
Yeah,
set
we
up.
just know,
We've
like, the
just set
levels
one
where
of
they
them
have
up
the
as
cinema
well, a
room.
quiet
This is
room.
beautiful.
We thought if we have a
Having
projector,
books
we can
and,
do a
like, a
movie night on a
library
Monday,
style
Yeah.
or we can do
library
a
in
sports
there.
evening, or we can do.
Used to be a
So we've
game,
got
like a gaming
options
room,
available,
but now it's make it a chill
Amazing.
room. You know what I mean? So
It's good, and like I said, it's something
That's
that we didn't have the
really-
stage.
Yeah, man, that's what you want, somewhere to
That's-
go and
yeah.
spend your time. You know what I mean? Like half the reason I left Ireland is because I smoke weed, I don't drink, so I'd nowhere to go and
Yeah.
socialise and
Yeah.
spend my
That's
time
the,
with
this
people.
is
you
the
know?
social aspect that
That's-
was lacking.
Yeah.
We provide
Really,
that
the
social aspect, but
community.
also because it's members, you become community, you become
Yeah.
Of
family.
course, yeah.
So,
you
like-
learn, you
Yeah,
meet
yeah.
more people, and
We've
yeah,
had
no.
members pass away where they really missed from the club because
Oh,
you
I'd
feel
say
that
so.
they've passed.
Yeah.
We,
especially over 10 years, you've built a big community
Well,
in them
yeah.
10 years. I can imagine.
80% of our current members are over the age of 50, so that gives you some
Wow.
idea.
80%.
Wow.
80%
So
over
it's
the
not
age
like
of
a load of
50.
kids in there blazing
Yeah,
joints.
no
though.
kids in there.
no.
No, 22, 21, 22. Oh,
I mean,
our staff, Millie and Angel,
Yeah.
they're 21 and 22.
So they're probably the youngest in the building.
They're the youngest in the building.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. Well,
you have to be
our age
21 to
limit's
sign up to ours.
21. Yeah.
Oh, it's 21. Okay,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
18, but 21.
We've raised it.
Yeah.
up.
And
Yeah.
most youths don't need to come to someone like me that's got CCTV all over my building.
Yeah.
I've got links to like the police, links to the press, links to the
Yeah.
council.
Yeah.
They
That's
have
not
to go
cool.
through their face and
That's not
smoking
cool for them.
outside, you know what I mean?
That's not cool for them. They don't want to be around him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's an old man, him, no, like, fuck him. So
It's
that's
like
good.
you're-
But I think that's nice though, because like even I have this beautiful friend from the UK, like old lady, like proper, you wouldn't even know, little granny, blazes like a motherfucker.
Grows.
But she grows everything, like has her, she calls them her girls, and she has her few little plants.
Sounds like our members, like,
Literally,
literally.
I honestly,
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to get her on just because she misses this.
Yeah.
She misses the community, the hanging out with people while blazing.
Oh, that's the thing. That's
yeah.
what we have is community, and that's what's lacking, and what you're
Nice,
seeing
yeah.
disappearing from the high streets. And that's the other thing. Our club is on the high street. It's not like just.
Oh,
off
I
the
thought
back
it was
street.
out in the.
No,
like,
we're on Stockton High Street.
Oh,
We're
I
actually
thought it was
on
in
the
the
high
suburbs
street
or something,
itself.
like some
No,
old.
We've been there 5
no,
years
no.
on the high street, blatantly.
So what's
Yeah.
like what's next door to you? Is like a few
A
other shops.
fish and tackle shop, and then you've got a shawarma shop.
So literally
like-
just regular
Any-
stuff.
Yeah, regular
like-
shop.
Can I ask
Like,
any
We're literally a
schools?
front store away from the main police station.
No,
in
the
Stockton, aren't we?
so
Like,
Paul Smith, who we had on last week, he
Yeah.
guessed. He was on at the Globe Theatre,
About 1,000
in UB40.
yards down the road.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
2 minutes
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Like you can see my front door of my shop from the
Yeah,
Globe.
he didn't come in for a
No,
joint.
No,
He's a messer, Paul. If you're
no.
listening, messer, Paul. You keep on
We've
weed
invited you
teasing
on
me,
our
bud
podcast.
teasing me. I will get you.
I'll say it
His
too. His tolerance is down at the moment, so he was
Yeah.
training for that fight. So
Yeah,
he
he-
literally had half
well,
a
that's
joint
how he
here,
d-
half an
Good on
edible,
him.
and he was just
Good on him.
That's
slowly getting quieter. The good thing the missus was mental because she just kept talking, but he was like
Legend.
chatting away and then just chatting left.
I follow them
chatting
both.
left.
Like, Paul does chat, and I like to
Yeah.
speak to him on Instagram and
Yeah,
stuff.
he's
And
a
he's
legend.
always been polite and said he's going to pop through and see. But he was training for that fight,
Yeah.
so that was his excuse for
For a
blagging me
long
off on the
time,
first
yeah.
time why I wasn't coming.
Yeah, no excuse now. Like,
And then I think he's been since then after that, but he didn't get a chance to come or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But Paul, I'll stalk the life
get
out
him
of
on
you,
the
mate.
podcast.
I'm going to stalk
There
him.
you
Oh, he blanked that message. He's replied back to others,
go.
but blanked that message.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Paul, I'm calling you out. Get on my podcast.
forward this on to him.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Get his tolerance up for when he comes back here as well.
Yeah.
We'll get his
Yeah,
tolerance
yeah,
up. He just
That's
has
why
to
I said
hang
you've
with
done
us.
the UFC,
Yeah.
now you need the
Yeah,
THC
we'll get-
training, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
He was saying he was more nervous about this podcast than he was for the fight because we were planning on fucking him up, but he wanted to do it before the gig. He's like, we do it a Thursday or a Friday. He's like, there's no way you're going to your gig after, you know what I mean? You couldn't even talk on the podcast. Imagine him on stage, just like,
Yeah. What am I doing? Why
He's
am
a
I
funny
doing
guy,
this?
though,
He's
like,
so funny,
I
man,
said
he's-
to him, I honestly feel like he's going to be as big as like Kevin Hart sort of thing.
yeah,
Years
oh,
from
he
now.
deserves to be.
He's
Like,
massive, like he
and-
must be at 1 million followers or close to.
I
do you
never
know what
even
I mean?
thought of
He's
it. His
good
missus
crack.
says he's probably got more footage than any other comedian because most of his stuff that goes out there is new interactions with the audience.
Yeah.
Nobody gets to see his gig.
Yeah.
Like you go, most comedians you've seen a clip here,
It's
a clip
comedy
there.
club stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
Where, like,
so where
it's
you
like,
just see
yeah.
him working with the audience. So when you go to see his stand up, it's all new
Yeah.
to you. So every week he's getting new footage because his stuff with the audience is probably just
I
as
think
funny, if
he's-
not
yeah,
funnier,
he's
than his
brilliant.
I
actual
think he's
stand
one
up.
of the
You know what I mean?
funniest guys out there
His
right now.
his
Right.
audience interaction is probably one of the
Yeah.
best out there at the
He's
moment.
brilliant,
Like,
and
he's
I've
fucking-
seen the genuine fear in people who've got tickets to go. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the front
Oh,
row.
front,
No.
yeah, you're asking for it then, you know what I
Genuinely,
mean?
yeah.
Oh, stuff. And he just goes, but he was telling me, so
But
he,
his lass is funny too, isn't she?
oh,
Like,
she's
Oh,
great. She only
great
started a
sense of
year ago. She only started doing comedy a year
She's
ago.
funny,
She's
yeah.
gas.
Great
Like,
energy.
I don't
Yeah.
want to say it, but she could be funnier than Paul. Wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
She's
Unless
got
she
the
comes to my
potential.
club, and then like
Yeah.
obviously I'll
Yeah.
take that back.
Bit of fucking bait there. But what
Yeah.
I was gonna say about fucking I can't even remember something about Paul the other night.
No, they were legends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
she's
it
a big gig coming out to Chuckle
She has her own comedy kind of night she does in her hometown. No, she doesn't do it in Birmingham. She does it in Liverpool and somewhere else down south. I can't remember
don't
the
know
English
UK
name, or
towns.
don't know England that well. But she does two events, and she's a load of comedians lined up now. But yeah, she said she only started about a year ago when she met him. So yeah, she's doing very well. She's gas, and
great.
they have their own podcast as well. What's the story, Paul
Yeah,
and Rory?
what's the story, Paul? Yeah.
So that's just them in their kitchen just talking. And all,
Yeah,
so
no,
it's,
but once again, like I said, I think it's especially for stoners, it's good to have just something on in the background that you can listen
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Literally just
that's why I only showed her his stand up as well, the stuff he talks about. He's talking about getting pegged at one stage, and he talked about DMT a few
It goes
minutes later.
from
like,
one spot
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
other, the other, no, like.
I think that's why he is so funny.
So
is
genuine.
Because he's so. They're
Open.
like him and Laurie. They're very straight.
Yeah.
They're no fucks. They're just like here's.
yeah,
us.
this is what we're up to.
You
Like,
know what
yeah,
I
we-
mean?
Yeah, I
Like-
used to think he was sound, but then, like I said, he ignored my message.
Really holding on to that. And how long he's over for?
Till Thursday.
Oh, nice,
Thursday,
nice.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he might come along to the painting event on Wednesday.
Yeah, we were.
You were
that's
asking
what we were
about that.
asking
It's a
about,
good
yeah.
event. Like even pop in, you don't have to pay, but pop in. It's
Yeah,
like
well-
it's full of
Yeah.
stoners, just everyone painting,
Edibles,
getting. It's a
everything.
Christmas event this week, so
He's
Oh, you see now we
infused
are.
hot
Oh,
chocolate.
Yeah, you.
I'm a big
you love
Christmas
bit
fan.
of
yeah,
Christmas,
he
don't
just
you?
Yeah.
make decorations and cards or
And
all
that's
kinds
the
of
kind of thing
stuff.
I'm into
Well,
anyway.
yeah.
That's the kind of thing
Oh,
And
I'm
then
into.
Sounds awesome.
the damp drink always sends around weed. They fill a volcano and just pass that around.
And he likes
People
volcanoes.
bring
Oh, yeah.
edibles and stuff, so it's always a great
We'll
event.
definitely call by. So
Yeah.
yeah,
big
definitely.
time.
It's
Yeah,
only up the road in the Havlars, so even if you're just popping by,
I'll
call
message
in.
you for the
yeah,
address.
yeah. It's near the original damp drink.
I've got to apologise. I know I messaged about that as well. What's this?
Yeah.
I didn't reply back directly to it. I was typing.
Yeah.
Fucking start smoking.
I
spliff, bro.
think
Put
I
my
had the
phone in
same
my
thing with
pocket.
you.
I'm the
It
worst
was done.
reply.
I was like,
I think
wait.
you sent me a message, and then I was somebody the other day, and I literally, when they sent me the second message, I screenshotted that I had half a message writ. I go, I didn't forget about you. I just, you know,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
halfway there, and now you've texted me again. I'm like, just to show you. But yeah, it's typical
Yeah,
stoner stuff. No, that's why I just texted you. We still on Tuesday? Yeah, grand. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's most
No, if
people.
I say I'll do something,
Yeah,
I'll
that's
always
it.
stand by what
Like
I
usually I
say.
say, and I'm like, oh,
Hence
maybe
why
I
we've
should
got a
check.
club.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
we said,
it.
I'll do it.
Back it up. But yeah, no, that's what I usually say to people, and then just forget about it. I'm like, oh, maybe I should check up with them. But every time I do it, I was like, yeah, of course. You know what I mean? I said I'd be there. So yeah,
But
nice.
Definitely, if you come over to the UK, give us a
Yeah,
shout.
man.
Do you get
We'll
over
even just
often?
come over. No, I don't go to the UK at
Oh,
all.
so you gotta
really.
make a special trip.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been to Newcastle for a stags when I was living here in 2019 or something like that. So that was probably the last time I was in the UK. If I had known you were there then, I definitely would have
Well,
been.
Yeah.
I'm over there with a load of drinkers, and I'm the only smoker, so it would have
Oh,
been
we do.
We're
fucking
about
straight down.
45 minutes from Newcastle
Yeah.
Airport. about
So
45
if we're
minutes.
flying, Newcastle will be the
Flying,
closest.
well, no, Teesside. You can fly
you
into
can fly
Teesside, but
Teesside?
it tends to be a little bit more expensive for Teesside.
Okay, yeah,
Newcastle,
yeah.
we're from Teesside and we're tight. We go to Newcastle. Don't
Yeah.
know why it's more expensive.
We'll
It's
just
only
even
a
come over,
small
just even do the
airport,
podcast for a
yeah.
night or two. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? in the
banging.
new year for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, 100%.
'Cause I'd love to check it out. Like, and get a bit of
Yeah, no,
content for
really.
The
sure.
Hilton
just to-
Hotel's literally about a minute and a half out the back of us as well.
Oh
That's
yeah,
cheapish,
sweet,
so it's
happy
not too
days. And what
expensive.
time are you open till?
We open on an evening because most of our people work.
Yeah.
So we open 5 p.m. Well, 3 p.m. on a Sunday.
Okay.
But they're better off answering because
Yeah, well, we do Sunday. We do 3 till 9. So
3
we
till
call
9.
last joint like 8:45 and
Yeah.
that. But
Last
you know,
Last joints.
we never chase people out or no, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But they kind of make their own way out about 9, just after 9, so we can get started closed.
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
But usually we
And
we
the
do
other nights?
Thursday, Monday. So we only close Tuesday and Wednesday.
Oh, so you're
But
not open at all.
no.
Not Tuesday, Wednesday.
Which is
We're not.
perfect for our
but the
trips
other
out.
days,
Okay, yeah, he's getting a few days off.
the other days we open 5 till 9.
So 9 is the latest. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Events, we sometimes run over at 10, 11 o'clock, depends.
Yeah.
Like
And
we
are
have
you, is there laws dictating what time you have to close, or
well,
like a bar has to close at 12
There
or
is
1?
for them, but not for us because none of them will put the. I'd have to just.
Yeah.
There's no actual
Self-regulated.
laws.
So that's it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
could
It's
say
like
open
No
it.
one wants
area.
to stand on and
It's
say
like-
we've given Michael this or we've said that or we've
Yeah.
done that. Obviously,
And
I've
we
got
are-
things off people that have said that I've got evidence of, but I mean,
Yeah.
no one
So
wants to go
because they
publicly.
haven't fully legalised it, they can't put this. Oh, in this case, you can say up until
Well,
this and this and this.
We're
and-
registered, like with Companies House, we pay tax and everything to a degree of what we can on what we can legally pay tax on.
Yeah.
But we're a weird situation where we've
It's a
been operating
unicorn,
for.
innit?
You're like
yeah.
a
There's nothing
loophole
else
of.
that
Yeah.
operates like
Yeah.
us, exists like us,
So you're kind
provides
of
the
You're just in a
services
bubble.
that we
Yeah.
provide. Where we should be really getting funding, we should be making bids to get funding for mental health
Yeah.
services. We fund it ourselves. That goes from our profits.
Yeah.
We put that in. If we've got members that have struggled or come out of work and haven't got access to cannabis, the club tends to take that over and do it until they get back and
Yeah,
sponsor them.
that's amazing.
So like, there's a lot
Jesus,
more that
that's
goes
well
on with what
done.
we operate and how we
Yeah.
opeate
Yeah.
than just opening up and
you're
hey,
first
get
and
That's
this
why
foremost
it
done.
the
needs
Yeah.
to be
community.
people
the
like
community.
yourselves.
Yeah.
It can't be like the commercial, the pharmaceutical. It needs to be people like you
Yeah.
doing these
And that's
kind of
the thing,
jobs. Really.
And the
yeah.
amount of people we've knocked back who've been interested in running and going forward with it is
Yeah.
because if I don't feel that you've got the right intentions, I don't even want to have them conversations.
Yeah.
And that's the
Fair,
way.
no, 100%.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Because I don't think they deserve to carry on the work and like stuff.
Well, I feel we've built a decent
really.
brand up now.
Yeah,
We sold the
yeah.
license. We own the copyright and license on If You Know You Know and the logo
Nice.
and on Teesside
Yeah.
Cannabis Club and Exhale Harm Reduction Centre. But we've actually sold that license to a company. I'll let you talk about.
Roberts Direct, they distribute Rizzler in the UK, based in
Big-
Wales.
Yeah, the UK
Nice.
distributor for Rizzler and a few other things. Got good links with Clipper, speaks to the CEO of Clipper, gets his custom lighters and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's he supplies 30% shelf space of, I can't remember the exact number of shops in the UK, but about 3,000 shops in the UK.
Oh.
Stocks the likes of Poundland,
Oh,
like
hey.
the
Yeah.
Bull brand,
Yeah, yeah.
like gas and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
He's
Smoking
he's
supplies.
that, yeah.
all that sort of stuff.
So
that
it's
we've
all
got
that
on.
kind of shit, but we haven't actually managed to get that into. It's just in their catalogue,
Into
so
his
he
own
can't
shops.
dictate to them what they're going to buy in. So it's in shops throughout the UK. It's up in
Yeah.
Scotland. It's all the way through. It's even bits in Ireland, but they're in little retailers and singular retailers. that
Okay,
bought 'em.
nice.
We haven't got it national through
Yeah,
a chain
yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Of
If
course.
that makes sense, but
But
they're
it's
selling.
cute if you know, you know.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
ripping
exactly
it
it,
out,
you
you know what I
know,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the guy putting like close to 100 grand just an investment in it. I
Wow,
get
yeah.
20% royalty, which I split with my partners in the If You Know You Know brand
Yeah.
separately.
Yeah.
And like, it's a win-win for us because we're getting the brand out there and we're getting paid for nothing. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's pushing.
The,
Pushing-
the hog grinders through
The hog grind,
same.
10% we donate, back to the hospice that looked after
Oh,
Ron
wow.
when he was
Nice,
That's
passing away.
amazing. Yeah.
So there's not
Well
been
done,
out of the sales and the 10%, it's only at about 200 quid anyway. No, like there's not
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
there to donate.
No,
back,
but
won't it?
It's something though, it's a
their
gesture.
mindset,
Yeah.
But
it's
once we
that,
like
yeah.
start getting global,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah,
make
the
some
more-
waves.
Yeah, no,
Really,
that's
yeah.
beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Even
no.
for people that don't consume cannabis, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? You're still going to probably have some impact.
we
through
go
the
out of our
hospice
way to try and
anything,
give
yeah.
back to the community the best we can and look
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
like initiatives and things that we can try and achieve.
'Cause
or
that's
look
at the
and
core
do
what you
and stuff.
started for,
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
community.
Well, that's
so.
what I mean, and like, so I'd used cannabis oil to treat myself for years, but when my dad passed away, I was left with like not a fortune. I got just under 17 grand, like an inheritance. That
Yeah.
was part of that was like I had to sell my dad's house and split it with
Yeah.
my sister and my brother as well and stuff. So it wasn't like a fortune,
Yeah.
and it wasn't gonna last long in terms of like my.
Yeah, you weren't retiring on it. So
No,
it's-
so giving it away to people and trying to push something I was probably depressed. I was like, I lost my dad, I lost my granddad, and I lost my uncle in the space of about 9 months. Do you know what I mean? And they were all father figures.
Yeah.
And then a year later, Ron come along who grew to be a father figure.
Yeah,
And
nice.
literally that man got me through a custody case from my youngest daughter, all sorts of shit. Like, we went above and beyond, like, as a business relationship.
Yeah.
We had a genuine friendship, and like
That's
when
amazing.
he became ill and passed away, it cut me deep.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's
Still speak to his widow. It's actually the 17th of December is the anniversary of him passing.
Oh wow.
But without Ron, my life wouldn't be how it is now. We
nothing
wouldn't have
would
the
be-
club. We
yeah.
wouldn't have helped the thousands of people that we've helped
That's
over the years.
amazing.
We've saved Cleveland Police millions over the last decade, whether they want to accept it or not.
Yeah.
Just not
Yeah,
like
no.
the fun. No,
Whether
like,
they give you the credit or
yeah.
not.
And it's that even just carries on into families, like parents not
Yeah.
getting a knock on the door
Yeah.
with two people in high vis
We've
being
had-
like, your
yeah.
son
We've had
got
teachers
nicked
get in
with
touch
2
with me off the
grams.
record and say, look, we've got kids that are doing this or kids that are doing that. Can you? I don't know how best to engage with them, Michael. No, like,
Yeah.
can you think
Yeah.
of a way that I can engage with them? Explain to them that there's other
Brilliant.
options. And all like,
That's great.
so
It's bad that people are turning to a weed dealer to help
But-
with their children.
yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
that's
It's
the thing.
it's
Because
something you
it's
would
lived
never thought would
experience,
happen.
and that's
Reality,
what
though,
you've
yeah.
got like now in the UK a massive harm reduction push,
Yeah.
and that's from people who've been ex-heroin addicts, cocaine addicts,
Yeah.
alcoholics who are
Yeah.
now in a lived experience position
Yeah.
to be able to run counselling services and
Wow.
provide like outreach services.
Because they actually have a full understanding. They know how hard it is to
Yeah, they're not
get
just
off
talking
it
from a
or-
textbook, and that's what frustrates me with the people that are meeting suits that pay. So, like, we get paid to go to little stately homes and meet with, like, Soco police and other people
Yeah.
like that and do a show and tell with cannabis off the record.
Yeah.
These people, I give them the cannabis, and this is senior police officers and people that were there, and his partner said, will I get high if I pick that up and smell it? And my partner, my lass looked at me and was like, and I was like, just like looking at it as if to say, don't fucking say a word now, shut the
Yeah.
fuck up. Because the same people were mortal fucking drunk, I'm not naming no names,
Yeah.
all drove home in the flash cars
Yeah.
from that stately home. I was the only fucker that stayed there with my fucking consultant and my partner. Even the people that had booked us in there didn't stay there, yeah? They left us with a groundskeeper that they said was going to, look, keep an eye on if we wanted anything in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We got a Philadelphia and cucumber sandwich out of him, that was. Right? But at 3 o'clock in
Philadelphia
the morning
cucumber.
when you're mortal drunk,
Yeah.
stoned off your face and you're starving, and this gardener's like,
We don't
what?
have
I
it.
told you okay,
I'd
well,
look up.
he opened the fridge, you went, some Philadelphia and some cucumber, do you want a sandwich? We were like, yes. But like, the people, like I said, that were there, their minds were blown by cannabis and the different
Yeah.
types and the
Never
strengths and the
actually
smell.
seen
Like that
But they were off
clueless,
to the
like-
toilet and doing cocaine and fucking
Yeah.
and then they all left and drove off in the little cars and shit. And like I said, we were left there, the stoners were left there.
Yeah.
And our consultant drank 2 bottles of wine, and once they left, he was like, "Whoa," but he'd
Yeah.
witnessed them do it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he was
Yeah.
probably just catching a contact high off them. But like, it blows my mind the people that bring us in and get us to do talks and how far
Clueless.
away from reality
Yeah.
they are, no, like,
Yeah.
and
They're the people that need the joint.
These are the
They're
people
much
thinking they can make
richer
decisions
for-
on something
yeah.
they don't even
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
they're
yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about. You know what I mean?
It's
It's crazy.
it's like textbook, isn't it? They've just learned from a book, and they're like, no,
Yeah.
but
They've-
we don't know how to deal with this because it wasn't on
Yeah.
page 47,
Yeah.
innit? You know, like,
It's like I was-
Literally,
It's like I was saying earlier about the doctor when someone pulls a
Yeah.
whitey, he's never been taught
Yeah,
what to deal with that. He
exactly.
thinks the guy's passing out, he's having this, that, and the
We've
other.
had a
you know?
couple
Yeah,
of
yeah.
major whiteys over the years in the club, like horrific ones, like
Yeah.
nothing where anyone's
I've
been
won every
really
day
hurt.
nearly. It's
But
fucking constant.
We had a
Oh,
guy
yeah.
that his friends thought he'd nearly died, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
times like he's dead, like he's
Yeah,
not dead. He needs
yeah.
sugar. That's all that's wrong with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've had some extreme ones over the years, loss
I-
of bodily functions.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've had that a few times on both ends.
Yeah,
Oh,
ooh.
yeah.
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 Oh, we've had some toilet cleanups as well.
Oh,
haven't we?
man.
I bet I'll tell you what. Right, when I get back over on Thursday, I'll send you a photograph
Do
of
I-
our
do I wanna
toilet
see it?
sign.
We've had to
Right,
pull
listen,
Okay.
of
I'll
the
do,
toilet.
I'll do a video walk around for you as well, so you
Yeah,
can have a
yeah,
look
yeah.
around, because we've got live music on Thursday as well, so
Oh,
you'll get a
nice.
good taste of what's what.
Yeah.
Banging.
But the toilet sign that he had to create, they had to create custom made. There's literally every symbol you can think of, from people standing, doing a handstand on the toilet, doing a one-handed handstand,
Ooh.
anything you can think of
Yeah.
is on there, because we had a group of people that were adamant that they were going to find different yoga poses it looked like to go to the toilet every time they went to the toilet.
Yes,
Mental
no.
This
Shit
was
on the
just their
floor,
bit
that's
of
all we
fun,
ask.
like.
Ask
Well,
for
no,
one
that
shit on
was
the
a
floor,
period
innit?
where
Like,
We used to allow guests, so we used to,
We-
if you remember,
we
but you
trialled-
wanted to bring a guest, you could pay for your guest to come in and they had to sign a form and bring 2 forms of ID still.
Okay.
people had no respect. The guests had no respect for the club and our little family and our little home.
Yeah.
I won't tolerate people
No, of
upset
course.
and shit. They won't tolerate it.
Yeah.
It's a zero tolerance. So run it straight away.
I literally, when I was saying I've always had an idea for a club, even if I didn't have members, I'd still make it members for that reason.
Yeah.
I don't want someone rocking up after the pub going, let's all head here. You're like, you come up Monday to Friday, you get a membership, and then when you're ready, come in. And then you have everyone's membership, you fuck around, you're
You
out,
find
you know
out.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
That's it.
Because I stopped going to pubs because of drunken idiots and assholes, so I don't want that in my
Exactly,
cannabis
and
club
that's
or
why
coffee shop. So
that's what sets us apart. And
Yeah.
we've got 5-star reviews on Google, on Facebook, on anything that you can review us. It's all
yeah.
5-star reviews.
Nice.
But we've got disabled users that will come and use us. But we've had members sign up from America that have heard about us in Mexico. That's
No
how far
way.
it's spread.
nice.
Like we've got.
Canada's
Do
a
they
good.
come over then and visit? Or
Yeah, we've got regular
And
American
they can
users.
join there and then.
You sign up online, you can come 24 hours after you've signed up. So sign up, bring 2 forms of ID. These know the ins and outs because these now run my day-to-day operations, and these have brought it up so much from where I was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
Photo ID, need to check photo ID, so that can be a driver's license or
A passport or
and
something,
then
yeah.
proof of
So
address.
if let's say we're going over, we want to join, we go online, get join the membership.
Teesside Cannabis Club.
Yeah.
.co.uk.
Do
go
it
on.
24 hours.
24
before you
hours
come.
before.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
that one, it just gives us time to get
Registered.
people sorted.
Yeah.
And like just.
and then when you rock up, you bring the IDs,
the ID.
and you get given a membership, or is
Yeah,
it
you
just
get a membership
Yeah,
card.
you get
Yeah.
a membership card,
Which
and,
again we've had like people get stopped and then they produce a membership card and the police acknowledge that.
Oh,
sometimes.
nice. So it's nearly
I haven't got my
Yeah,
wallet on
pretty
me.
much
it's
all
nearly
it's
recognised as a medical
Yeah.
marijuana card,
So
like
they
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
get in trouble for having it on
It's
them, but
again
It's
at the
not guaranteed,
discretion of
but-
the
Yeah.
police. But yeah,
It's better than not
depends
having it.
which one-
It's
yeah.
better than not having
having
it, and it's down to like officer discretion.
Yeah,
So
of
like
course,
people
get the bitch.
but we've had
and everyone
people
gets a
come in.
picture and all in the back.
We've
Yeah,
had
yeah,
yeah,
people come
picture,
Sure,
yeah.
oh, it's right, it's
Aw,
fine.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
That's savage.
Yeah, that's nice.
it's good, innit?
Yeah, it's proper official. I've got
Yeah.
I've never been to Barcelona, but I've been to Lanzarote. So I think I've 2 or 3 memberships from there, but they're literally cardboard. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
name on the back there. You
Right,
go
no,
and
we
stuff.
try-
Right.
But that's a nice official kind
Yeah,
of.
you know, that
We
is
class
good
it as
then.
like a medical ID card, isn't it? So if you
Yeah.
get stopped and like this is the thing, a lot of our medical cannabis users in our club don't want to go through the rigmarole of having a medical prescription.
Yeah.
They've had one and they can't afford to keep up with it, so they've come back to us and they use us
Oh,
because
the-
we're way
the
cheaper.
quality's not
Yeah.
The
good.
quality's better.
Or the
There's no
supply's
mold,
not
there's no
there.
like
No, yeah.
No
haven't-
mold.
Thing at moment.
Oh,
it's
medical
just
cannabis,
supply.
it's a mixed bunch right now. Not from
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
medical
no, I
as
can
such,
imagine,
against them
but-
all because it's the same sort of suppliers.
Yeah.
It's the quantity, everything. You
Yeah,
can't be
yeah.
not to that
And
level.
that's
like,
another
yeah.
thing we do with the members as well, like teach them how to look at it and recognise.
Yeah, what they're looking at, what
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
smoking and all.
and
That's
we
nice.
do the testing as well.
Yeah.
so
We do
get
on-site
little things.
testing as
talk
well.
track
Yeah,
So you're
and
teaching
stuff,
you're
yeah.
teaching that to your customers. Most
Yeah.
bud tenders over here don't know that.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
Like
but we
you're
try-
you've customers that know more than people that are selling weed
There's
in
a couple of
Amsterdam.
different
So.
microscopes available, so you can check your product yourself once you've got it and have a look yourself and see
Nice.
what you're looking at. And then
Or
you've
bring
got
your
trained
medical in
professionals
or-
that will
Yeah.
tell you about it too.
Sick.
Well,
So
That's really,
like that's,
really
yous are
great.
definitely going to a higher standard than most shops
Yeah.
over here. Like,
Because
you
I
know,
feel
yeah.
that
Even
in the
most
UK, with us
countries.
being
Yeah.
being that unicorn, it's up to us to raise that bar, set
Yeah.
that level.
Yeah.
And then there's no exception, there's no way to
Yeah.
look around it.
And
And, if
again-
I've thought of everything and done everything in between,
Yeah.
what are you going to come at me with?
That's
A bit
it.
like
If once
Eminem
you're
and
ready,
8 Mile.
yeah, you know what I mean.
You
Yeah,
know
what
what I
I
mean?
mean.
Like, yeah,
Tell
come
me
on,
what, you know what I
yeah.
mean.
You've got
I've
to
given you
be-
everything I do.
Yeah.
Tell me what
This
else
is
I
it,
do. You know what I mean. But yeah, so do you have it grow yourself, or is it all just?
It's all just done. I used to grow myself for years. I used to love growing.
Yeah, I've
I
never
haven't grown
done it.
since about 2016 now, 17. Having my kids a lot more at my house now, like
Yeah,
that,
it's-
man. Now my oldest ones, they're in secondary school, so they turn up whenever they want. Now, like,
Mm.
but my kids have been well aware of who I am for the last 10 years
Yeah.
because when we were most prevalent in the media and the press, although they were only young, they'd be driving with their other parents and the radio would have me on like different stations. and stuff.
Yeah,
Right, that's my dad. No,
yeah.
my daughter, when she was about 8, set up Teesside Canada Club.
Canada Club.
And teachers knew that it was Teesside Cannabis Club. she
Yeah,
was trying to
yeah,
set up. No, like, but they didn't tell her and I didn't tell her.
Yeah.
And she was like, I want you to get me some slaps made, Dad. And I was like, what? She was like, slaps, is that what you call them? Stickers. I was like, of what? And she had her own design, a princess with a crown, and it said Angelica's Clubhouse on it. And I was like, is this your thing? And she was like, yeah. She said, but I'm going to have that design, but in Teesside Canada Club.
Canada
And I was
Club.
like, Canada Club. And she went, yeah. Then about 2 years later, she randomly come out of school and she went, Dad, I went, what? She went, I know it's Cannabis Club. I went, "Who have you been talking to?
Yeah,
My
that's
teacher
it.
told me. I went, what?
The
She went, my
teacher.
teacher said that you've been saying it wrong. I was like, well, you're getting older now, babe. No, like, I was like,
That's right, the teacher told me.
But yeah, like,
Oh,
it's
that's
been
brilliant.
a strange
It's
one.
nice though that you even like let them find out on their own, but also keep it open.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
because
know
I
what I
don't
mean?
want. I'd much
Normalise
rather my
it.
kids do weed.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
do
drink.
Drink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Do
in Ireland we're
coke,
raised
do
in
any-
pubs,
yeah.
you know what I mean? You're around
Yeah.
drunk people all the time.
That's
and
it. You're raised
Yeah.
with it.
yeah,
and it's
literally,
like, that's
kids
the
just
norm.
running around the pub, the
Yeah.
parents are they're outside somewhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Giving them a
yeah.
packet of crisps and a
People
coke or
say
something.
that
Yeah.
cannabis is a gateway drug.
Yeah,
I think
alcohol is the biggest
it's
gateway
the
drug.
biggest
Yeah,
gateway
yeah.
drug
I-
by far.
Literally.
We use
Legally,
cannabis,
that, like,
and
it's-
we have a saying
yeah.
that it's an exit drug.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
it.
use it as an
Yeah.
exit drug.
Yeah.
So we have people
It's when you
that
found where you want to go, you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
like,
alcoholics that work, ex-alcoholics when they come to us now,
yeah.
they use it as an exit drug
Yeah.
because that stops
It's
them.
something, it's a vice,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah,
not, it doesn't have that addictive personality,
Yeah.
that destructive stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd love to find someone who done their first ecstasy or their first line of coke after too many joints.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody's gone, fuck, I've smoked too much, want to get a bag of coke, want to get
Yeah,
it's
it
too many
just doesn't
drinks,
happen.
and then, so how is weed the gateway drug when everyone gets drunk and tries
That's
coke
what I
and gets
don't
drunk and
understand.
tries
So,
ecstasy?
I was watching-
It doesn't make sense, you know?
Yeah,
It's
I
a
was
lie
watching
that
a
we've
podcast
been
last night.
told.
You watched the Osborne podcast?
I've seen it before, yeah.
So I love them, think they're great. Didn't realise that Sharon had such a negative impression of cannabis.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, now for a family that have got their own drug
Well,
issues
yeah,
and
yeah.
drug problems.
Do you know which ones are bad?
Now Ozzy was pretty like straight on it. Do you know what I mean? Jack was trying to like shout. He was like, "No, there's benefits to it, Mum." No, like,
Yeah.
But Sharon was like, "No, it's a dangerous drug. It's 100%. No, like it's a." And like, I just thought, what?
That's
like,
mental,
it's
like, you know what I
mental,
mean?
like,
And
it's
for someone
crazy.
who
It's just
has
like, we've seen
heroin
people
addictions and
fuck up.
all,
Basically, someone had spiked Sharon
with an edible
and
or something.
Ozzy with cannabis stew. So they shot some
Okay.
cannabis and some
Cannabis
stew.
stew?
Exactly. She's like, what? How the
Yeah.
fuck do you get fucking high off stew?
Yeah.
Right.
She's the only
Some sort of
person in the
infusion.
world, she said. She's the only person in the world that turned into the Hulk. She knocked fuck out of Eddie. Ozzy. knocked fuck out of Ozzy. Battered fucking something. No, like
Because she was stoned.
Because
Just
she was
went on
stoned.
one.
She had psychosis basically.
Okay.
She had
Yeah.
like, now it does exist obviously,
Yeah.
but
Too
like
much all at
Sharon,
once.
have you took other substances?
Yeah.
Were you a drinker?
Have you
Were
been
do you know
normal
what I mean?
after
No,
everything
like, yeah.
else? Like,
Do you know
I
what
mean?
I'm saying? Like, there's not like I just
That's
think
it. Like, if you drink, or no, if you smoke once and you have a bad experience, to put you off you for
Yeah.
life. Well, people go out, get drunk every weekend, get in a fight with their missus, cheating them, something.
Yeah.
And the week after they'll do it again. But one bad experience of weed will put them off. But they'll, you know what I mean? A million
it's
bad
crazy.
experiences of drink, they're like, oh fuck,
Yeah,
this
and
Friday
I've-
we're out again. Like, you know
I've
what I mean?
never like had to wake up the next morning after weed and think like, oh, who the fuck
What did I do
message
last night?
Who the
Like,
fuck was
yeah.
I doing? No, like, I hope I didn't say nothing
like,
I shouldn't have said.
even
Like,
even the conversations, like people say stoners are all like idiots and all. If you talk to drunk people, it's the same 4 or 5 stories, just lots. So you just, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
they're telling
They
you, they're
live their lives
screaming
off
at
that
you, they
same
can't even
5
talk
story,
anymore.
yeah.
Like, so the guy, and they go, yeah, you've told me that 4 times,
Yeah.
mate. You know what I mean?
It's like
Where
something,
stoners have,
something goes like in back of the brain,
Yeah,
innit? And it's like you're trying to
they
say,
turn
like,
into these
yeah.
kind of mindless zombies.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like I see people coming into the white shop and all, and they think it's a bar, like beer, like no, like, and you're like, you're
how
looking
the
at
fuck
them
have
like.
you even walked
Yeah,
into this point?
it
and
likes
been-
half them
how
look
are
like
you
these
getting it out?
fentanyl, or
Yeah.
what's the thing in America now, fentanyl or whatever.
Fentanyl.
They
Fentanyl,
look
yeah,
like
yeah.
them coming in and out, like bumping into doors now, because they've gone out and had a few beers and they can no longer function. You know what I mean? It's, I don't know, it's a mental drug, alcohol. I don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
understand. If they tried to legalise it today, imagine them doing studies and all, and suddenly there's a lot of people in the room punching the head off each other, puking, rising, you
That's
know.
what I'm saying. It's just
Yeah.
a total different. And like the mad
And to be
thing
so
is,
promoted, it's on fucking football jerseys. You
Yeah.
know what I
the
mean?
end
Like,
of
it's,
arguing, though, like this is the thing. When I do have interactions with the police, guaranteed one of them will always try and make like the relationship
the
between
comparison.
cannabis
Yeah.
and alcohol, and be like, yeah, but Michael, do you drink? And I'll say no. I'll be like, well, if you had a pint, I'd be like, I'd be fucking legless, mate, so I shouldn't be able to drive. But yet legally, you can drive with half a pint or a pint. a
Yeah.
day. I was like, but I'd be fucking legless. I'm a hazard with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, but now, mate, I could pass a driving test, smoked, stoned
Oh,
off my face.
I think I don't.
I did my driving test.
I was just about
like-
to say, my first time I done my driving test failed. The second time I was like, because I'd only been driving a few weeks, but I learned to drive stoned the whole
My
time.
Well,
driving
that's
instructor
the
A few
bought weed
pulls
off me.
off the thing, passed it first time.
My
so, you know what I mean?
instructor bought weed off me. I
Yeah.
was 16, 17. He'd bought weed off me. And I was with the AA school of motoring. And I passed within 12, 13 minutes of going out on my test.
Well,
I passed, done.
Just pulled over, had
Yeah.
a joint, drove back to
When
the
I lost
UK.
my license, I lost my license 18 years to the day that I passed. How
No
freaky is that?
way,
And then I got my
fucking hell.
license back a year later.
That's
So it was
mental.
like
So
that-
the license,
yeah,
this day
yeah.
is your license day.
Crazy,
That's mental.
crazy. But yeah, like I said, it's been a mad roller coaster, mad ride.
Yeah,
You couldn't rate it.
Yeah,
There's been
no, it's
a lot
mental.
more that's gone on though, like, and
Yeah.
a lot less that's like fucking.
and
you
any
can't
big
talk-
plans coming up? Any expansion?
We'd like
or?
to go with the expansion, but like I said, the criteria is simple. We don't want to fund it or finance it.
Yeah.
That's not my dream.
Yeah,
That's not
no,
what
of
I'm
course.
looking at.
If
We've
it
got
happens
our own
simple,
you've
then
got-
going on,
yeah.
If you've made the inroads, we've got the model. Right, we've got everything, all the infrastructure's there ready for
Yeah,
it.
no, that's
We
it.
just need
You
to
know
go
how
to-
it's done. It's just
The partnership can be set up, it can be rolling,
Yeah.
go forward. It's a simple setup. It's pretty much like the American setup of how they've hit us up. So it's 51% ownership kept back on, if you know, like on Excel.
yeah. They're kind of buying a franchise nearly, like.
Yeah, so they're 49% owners in it, because that way, if for any reason the fucking about anything goes wrong, the plug can be pulled on it.
Yeah,
obviously, and
that's
it's
it.
done, yeah.
You can just walk
'Cause
away.
you're not fucking ruining a brand that we've worked 10
Yeah,
years.
no, that's
hard
it.
at
You can't
crafting.
hand that over
And
to
there's
anybody.
so many simple people out there that think, oh yeah,
Turn into
I'll
a
do
money
this, I'm just
making
gonna-
thing and all. You know what I
oh
mean?
like, yeah, I
Greed.
could smash this, we could do it. I'm
Yeah.
like, are you stupid in the head? I could
That's-
fucking smash it if I
That's
was
the opposite of what you're about.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
Anyone
I wanted
can
to smash it, I wouldn't have set up
but
Teesside Cannabis Club, mate. I'd have set up in a different area where I could smash it,
yeah,
do you know
no,
what
of
I mean?
course.
I'd have smashed it in Durham, I'd have smashed it in Newcastle, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Teesside wasn't the place to set up if I was trying to smash it.
yeah, no, 100%. No, that's it. People just think money, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, and that's what ruins it. Like back in the day, we've had people on that said that it was like cheaper. People just kind of nearly gave the weed away. Like when you go to the coffee shops back in the day, they'd give you your cigarettes, they'd still give you papers and all, but all you needed was to buy the bit of weed,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they'd give you all the rest.
Yeah.
And it was that kind of, oh, we're just all smoking together. Now it's €30 Cali,
Yeah.
fucking all this stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's
just
turned into a business.
money
hasn't it?
ruins everything. You know what I mean? And
The restrictions on the coffee shops has sort of brought that on a little bit as well, though. Or do you
I
think
don't know. I think it's just
more
the
of a-
America. I think America's kind of, you know what I mean. People, like I'd say a few years ago, people came to Amsterdam and didn't know anything about weed. Now they're coming here going, where's the gummies? Where's the vapes? Where's the extracts? Everything they've heard about in
Yeah.
America, they expect is everywhere now. And then they're
Yeah.
looking at you like, what do you mean I can't get it here? It was like that wasn't a thing a few years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
Amsterdam was the mecca, the only place you could
Yeah.
go, smoke, buy weed, the whole lot. And now suddenly America just ran away, went big, and everyone's just like expecting it to be everywhere. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what people come in. Where can I get gummies? I say America and Canada. And they're like, what? I was like, they don't do them in Amsterdam. You know what I mean? They're not legal here.
Yeah.
And I always tell people about the ones in the souvenir shops, like
Shit.
they're all fake. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Maybe
They've got to-
CBD.
They've got to be fake. haven't
Yeah,
they, to
that's
be
what I'm
able to
saying.
sell?
They legally can't sell weed, so you see people come in with their cookies and all. You know what I mean? Their
Yeah.
buckets. You probably paid a tenner for it. I'm just looking, going, you idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
no, we said
they're,
this.
they're in
last night
kebab
when we were
shops.
there.
Like
Yeah,
you go in a
yeah,
kebab shop at
you
night, you'll see
can't-
these
yeah,
cookies and
yeah,
all. You know
It's
what I
just the
mean?
brand,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Cannabis cookie
Yeah.
or cannabis cake.
It's
And some of them
Oil or
high
whatever.
or strong, medium, and all.
But
They're
there's-
all nothing.
There's nothing on there
They
saying
might say it
dosage
has
or anything,
CBD
is
or
there?
something.
Stick
You know
to
what I
your
mean?
space cakes, innit?
Yeah,
Give me
and they have
coffee.
lollipops, they have everything and all. And people
Yeah.
come and go, where do I get the lollipops? I go, you don't. Do you know what I mean? And if you
Yeah.
do find them, they're fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
Yeah, no, like the UK is like a little fucking paradise right now.
Yeah.
With a bit of everything, but the problem is it's not regulated, like I said.
That's it.
You're
Yeah.
leaving it in the hands of the criminals
And,
unless you
and
work
the only
with
people that
like me.
benefit are the criminals
Yeah.
and the government,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
are criminals. So it's literally.
And that's the thing, isn't it? No, like look at like
One for one.
Yeah.
they've got literally writing on the wall of how of even the money they spent in COVID,
Yeah,
how they can bring it back. We've got the model, we've got the system,
yeah,
we've got
that's
everything in
it.
place.
And
you know what I mean?
these were kept open as
Yeah.
essential workers. You know what I mean?
Well,
We
So
can raise billions just
Yeah.
overnight, just setting
But
up
you just
something
take-
that the government can actually be.
do something. with it.
In
I
it,
even say
run it,
even the
do
most
it.
corrupt government with that much extra money can
Yeah.
still do some good. You know what I mean? Even the greediest government, if they had the money that was being pumped into drug dealers' hands and all around the world to all these fucking suppliers and drug or fucking smugglers and all this shit. Instead of that, they're going to governments, growers, labs, all this stuff. Even the most greedy government would still have excess money to
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
local towns and their people. You know what I mean? So, like, what was it? Colorado in the first few years, there was like up billions,
Yeah, well, they
down
did it
this,
for school
up
dinners,
that.
didn't they? Originally, to give the kids free school dinners, and
Yeah.
they made,
Did they?
yeah.
Yeah. So
You know
that's
what I mean?
that's what people like, especially like you, it's the ways can give back to the community where they're like, who are these people doing the nice things?
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're a cannabis club. That's That's not what I thought cannabis people were about. Do you know what I mean? They suddenly seen
Put
you.
the
As,
good
We
light.
get told all the
That's
time
what
when
we
we
try
meet
to
with people and do these conferences or do these like advisory panels.
yeah,
They say, oh, you should be commended, no, like you should be given an award for what you.
yeah.
But none of them stand on record or
No.
actually commend us for
No,
that.
that's it. They say
Yeah.
somebody should.
Behind the scenes, oh, it's great what you're doing here,
Yeah,
fucking
that's
opening
it.
doors, but fucking.
No, nobody's actually out there
Yeah.
going, did you see what these, it's great what these are doing, you know
and
what I
that's
mean?
the thing, they just want big corporation to come in and try and stand on little man
Yeah.
and take over. But I want Malcolm's the pie and I'll fight for Malcolm's the
Yeah,
pie.
no, that's it, man.
And
You deserve it this
I'll
stage after 10
expose
years.
the full fucking everything, mate.
Yeah,
With everything out there, even well, it's already out there with the right people at the in the media.
yeah.
That if anything was to happen, that it would be released. So
No, that's it.
would
You have
go.
enough backing and enough backup. And
we've had a
everything.
couple of little instances in the past where we've never had to threaten it until like recently,
Yeah,
and then we had an incident where we had to like say, if that happens, we will do this.
okay,
It was
yeah,
backwards completely to what we do on a national level
yeah.
and on an international level with advisory to a local level. And then it turned out it was just a local councillor,
Yeah.
and it was like, what the fuck?
Just
this
takes
is
one
way too
fucking asshole
like,
just to fuck it all
yeah.
up. You know what I mean? Gets a.
Well, if you rolled over, if you were gonna let them bully you, yeah.
Yeah.
But I've like no one told me I could have this.
Yeah.
Like I know Ron wanted this.
Yeah.
But I mean, like
There's
physically
nothing
having
official. There's no
Every
like
single
sanction.
person's been like, you get locked up, mate. They threatened me with 20 grand fine. Threatened me with 6 months in jail,
Yeah.
2 years in jail. This, that. There's been nothing but hurdles and headache and anxiety and
Yeah.
stress in this 10-year fucking journey.
Yeah.
Like it's only been the last 2 years. Well,
It feels like it's starting to be worth it.
we've raised our level to a point. Since Ron passed away, it's like I have to now do
Yeah,
right
for
by
him.
him. It's for him.
Yeah.
This is his fucking legacy. This is what he wanted to attain.
Yeah.
And like, as far as I'm concerned, we're flying the flag of what he wanted.
Yeah. No.
That model that he
And,
created.
and for someone who was what ranking in the police?
He was crime commissioner. He was the police chief for Cleveland Police and crime commissioner for Durham Police.
So if he
Yeah.
can see that this was a good thing, you know what I mean? Like it's.
And like when he passed away, before he got motor neuron disease and he went downhill really fast. But he was hoping he was going to get re-elected,
Yeah.
and then he was going to have 5 years basically. From
Imagine
2020.
the stuff he could have done in there.
Well, he
years.
said you will have
yeah.
free reign. He said, Michael, we can push this and get this out into other areas.
Yeah.
He was like, they're going to change from the recovery approach to a harm reduction approach of trying to stop the people getting into these situations
Yeah.
rather than having to recover them from the situation.
Nice. Kind of prevention
Yeah,
more than
and then,
recovery.
like I said, COVID hit, he passed away. Shit's gone. Like, it's hard work, mate, we're fighting the battle, flying the
Yeah.
flag.
But it was nice when you had someone
Yeah.
on your side, on the other
Yeah.
side, you know what I mean? Someone.
And there's
Oh,
still
yeah,
officers
definitely.
out there that back us, bro. There's still people out
Yeah.
there that support us.
But to
and
have
like-
someone that
yeah.
high up and
Like
that
when
much.
he got stopped recently, it's like, oh
They're
yeah.
like that kind of shit there. So like, see, like previously, like when that's happened, literally there's been an officer that's made a call or whatever and said, listen, you know exactly where they are. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Kicked out. I was kept in this cop shop for about 52 minutes on that last arrest. Yeah.
It's not even an
About
hour.
52 minutes,
Yeah.
right? And I kept saying, put me in the cells if you feel you can legally put me in the cells. Put me in the cells by all means.
What are we doing here?
I'm
You know
like,
what I
we're
mean?
wasting time.
Yeah.
Now-
Shit or get off the pot.
That officer, the desk sergeant, was saying, well, I can't release you. You could be under the influence. I said, I can give you a swab.
Yeah.
I said, are you a drug test? And you
Yeah.
went, what? I went, are you a drug
Yeah.
test? I said, can you
Don't
just
assume-
physically look at a
yeah,
man
can you
and go,
assume-
you're
yeah.
under the influence? I said, because if you can, mate, put me in the fucking cell.
Yeah. If you will
And he
stand
went,
up in court
You
and
go
stand
to
by.
see the doctor. I went, okay, so I went to see the police doctor. Police doctor looked at me after 20 minutes of me helping them do the paperwork on my
Yeah.
dad's grave, going through, because there wasn't a
'Cause there
box
wasn't
to
a
tick
box to tick.
to say that I'm a medical cannabis user and legally compliant and
Jeez.
refusing the swab because you're testing me for cannabis, which I've already told you I'm on.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's against the law if you don't give a swab. I was like, yeah, but you're not following law.
Yeah.
No, like, I was like, because the Home
Neither
Office
was it.
guidance, which isn't law, but it's guidance,
Yeah.
is if I supply this evidence to you, you then shouldn't go down the route of a swab.
Yeah.
Unless
You don't need
I was
it.
driving around
It's the whole reason of the
Yeah.
license is to show
the
in these
fact that
situations.
I'm here tells me that system's failed.
Yeah.
I'm
you
not
don't know your
compliant.
job.
I'm not giving you a swab. I'm not giving you a blood test. I'm not giving you a urine sample.
Yeah.
I'll see you in court. And the officer looked at him and went, can you like ascertain if he's under the influence by looking at him? He's trying to torture my eyes. He went, he's fine. He went, you're fit to drive. I went, I know. And he went, do me a favour. He went, can you walk down then,
Oh,
like one
Jesus
foot in front of
Christ.
the other? I went, yeah. I should have said, can you do it first?
Yeah,
but I
let's
didn't
see.
think. So I went and did it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, took down. The officer that was still being a dickhead, the desk sergeant behind the thing, the booking sergeant or whatever. He was like, going to keep you in for a couple of hours just till you sober up. Sober up.
Fuck's sake.
Another desk sergeant come in and went, what you in for, son? I went, failure to provide. He went, on what? I went, I'm a medical cannabis user, licensed, mate, legal.
Yeah.
He went, get him out of here. That officer had been in there from day one, I think he'd have been kicked out.
Yeah.
But like, it just goes to show the difference
Yeah,
in
that's it.
mentality.
You get the wrong
Do
cunt.
you know
He
what
just
I
has
mean?
a fucking.
So now we're wasting
trying to prove a
taxpayers'
point.
money. I'm at court for
Yeah.
trial because it's my word against the judge's word that isn't being subpoenaed, doesn't have to legally attend court.
Yeah.
And like, why would any man go to court and say, Your Honour, a judge said this?
Yeah.
Yeah, why would I say that?
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting you to have the paperwork and documentation
Yeah.
to fucking back that up.
Yeah, I thought
Do you know what I mean? Like, I spoke to press back in 2018 that remember me saying it, but we didn't run a story on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've got, like, my partner who was in the court that witnessed it at the time. I've got probably 20 members that remember the whole story of how it happened.
Yeah.
But you know what? I haven't got a fucking judge who wrote it down or kept in court
Yeah.
records. How's justice going to be done?
That's it.
I've got to present and prove this case. I've now got to pay, and if I lose, you know she's going to hit me with court costs and hit me with everything else.
deal
I
with
shall try and
everything.
fucking. So like, it's to me.
And that's why they do it. Just a little fuck with
But
you.
you
a
know
little
what?
bit,
If
you
I
know
can
what mean?
win this flies the fucking flag for every other cunt that they're going to try and bully.
What's a precedent? You
Little
can go back to
people.
that
'Cause,
case
like,
then.
I've
you know
got
what
an
I mean?
argument there. I've got a fight. You see, I've got passion in my heart for this.
Yeah. And it
Picking
needs
on the man
people
who
to be
can't
the
argue or a
martyrs.
woman
and-
that can't argue,
Yeah.
who's genuinely fucking poorly, like I am. I suffer with illness,
Yeah.
but I can at least articulate an argument
Yeah.
to get out.
Where
like,
some little old lady
Yeah.
who has a medical
where
card.
you're just bullying and
suddenly-
harassing them.
yeah.
I was asked maybe 30 fucking times, you need to give a swab, give a swab, you're going to give a swab. I've already told you no.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
'Cause
Like,
you
if
know,
that
once
was
you
a
do it, they
sexual,
have you.
if that was sexual now,
Yeah.
and I'd said no, and you're still asking me another 29 times,
Yeah.
now we'd be looking at that a bit different,
No,
wouldn't we?
100%.
Do you know what I mean? But yet you can fucking harass the life out of me.
Yeah.
When I've
Forcing
told
you
you,
to do
I do
something.
not comply, I do not consent to this.
Yeah.
You haven't legally done what you're supposed to do and hold up your side of the contract.
Yeah.
I'm not holding up my side of the contract. Fuck off.
Yeah.
And that's
no,
what
it.
everyone should do.
Yeah, no,
Because, like I
100%.
said, it's fucking bent.
Yeah.
And the entire system's bent. And like, until people see it and break it down and rebuild it for what it should be,
Yeah.
there's no justice getting done.
But it takes the old school people are still set in their ways. They've been told weed is bad. It's, you know what I mean, it's just all
Oh no,
this.
they are officially right, but I've been to meetings.
Oh no,
and
there's a few that are
chats
clued on,
where
but
they're like,
Oh yeah.
oh no, my wife got cancer. And
yeah,
like,
this is where they really
and
learn
all
when they
this
have
shit,
to.
you know what I mean?
when
When it
it's-
affects their family.
Yeah.
But until it affected their family, for the 40 years they were locking
they
people
were
up. Or,
criminals. Yeah, that's it.
do you know
And
what
then
I mean?
suddenly when it helps them, they're like, oh
Yeah.
wait, maybe it's not so
It's
bad.
not
But
right.
it's bad that it has to go to that. That someone has to get sick for people to learn. But you know what I mean? It's but
It
as I
just
say-
kills me, mate. That, like I said, I know it was 52 minutes for me, and it wasn't
Yeah.
that extreme, right?
yeah,
But what I giggled about, and all the way through, like all the transcript will be up in court because we're using it as evidence now from the officer that stayed with me. Now that officer that was having to check me in couldn't apologise enough neither.
yeah,
Asked me if like he couldn't get a drug test to prove that he's not on wherever to go. He's moving to Australia. So how the fuck is this? Like, that's an officer asking me for advice
yeah.
about like how can he get this test done so he can go and make a transfer to Australia.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm getting processed.
While
'Cause-
you're being
Because
arrested
that
for,
officer
and-
didn't
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
with what he was having
Yeah.
to do. He was
That's
just
crazy.
like any other man, but he was like saying, listen,
yeah,
like I don't
a
agree
bit of a
with my
career
job."
advice
I
here.
said to him, you can smoke weed, mate. I can get you a medical license prescription. You can vape, you know.
Yeah,
They'd take me straight off the squad cars. I wouldn't be able to. I said, wait. I said, the shit that you see on a daily basis, all them officers on the front line
yeah,
see people, meet people on the worst fucking day.
yeah.
You see mankind.
Fucking PTSD
yeah.
from that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, man.
We're the people that should be helping you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're here
Yeah,
for you.
That's
We want to
it.
provide that
Benefit the
service
most.
for
It
you.
Yeah,
Let me help you. And instead, I got get by literally a chorus of fucking coppers.
yeah,
We couldn't do cannabis and be a police officer. I said, freedom of information request that's readily available on the internet from the Met office.
yeah,
The Met police office tell you that you can
yeah.
use cannabis and be a serving police officer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you legally.
Like you could go out and have a load of pints and come in half drunk and drive your squad car. You know
Because
what I mean?
on your
Like,
medication says do not operate or drive heavy machinery. It's the same as taking tramadol,
yeah,
taking
strong
right,
sleeping
yeah.
or strong
It's the
muscle
same
relaxants.
dosage. So when you've got coppers saying, "Have you driven in the last?" That's not the fucking law.
Yeah.
Stop making up your version of bullshit. Yeah, do you
Trying
know
to
what I mean?
find a way to get
And
at
the
somebody.
mad thing is, I
Yeah,
hadn't used cannabis because of my mouth being bad, mate, for probably
Yeah.
16 hours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I told them 8 hours. I said I haven't used it for at least 8 hours. But I was fucking flustered and not thinking, When I got home and our lass was like, Michael, she went, you haven't smoked since yesterday.
Yeah.
She went,
so
your mouth's been
nearly
killing
the whole
you.
day.
I went, exactly. I went, I probably could have given this what I
That's
couldn't have done because of my mouth.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have had to do because out of principle, I
Yeah,
provided the fucking evidence,
Yeah.
so suck my fucking dick.
That's it,
And that's
exactly.
how I felt on it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, that's it. You've gone through all this to get the medical card,
So
and if they
I'm-
don't recognise this, you have to educate them.
So then the
And the only way
courts,
to educate them is go the hard
To
way, you
go
know what I
through
mean?
it,
Yeah, let's
naturally
embarrass
live
you in
through
front of
it,
your
yeah,
boss,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
the courts literally got in touch with my fucking barrister and were like, why is he challenging this?
Yeah,
Why? And I said, so they're going to give me just a 12-month disqualification if I do a deal now. I wasn't going to take it, I just went, no. He went,
Yeah.
no. He went, you're still getting a 3-year ban.
yeah.
I went, well, fuck him.
Yeah, of
I
course
went,
you're
like,
going to
what?
challenge
I said, so basically, like, we're going to fuck you over here. We're going to take your license off you, and we're going to stitch you the best way we can. Will you just make our life a bit easier instead of going to trial? Just accept that, Roger, and that we're going to give you anyway.
Yeah.
I said, fuck him, and I tell you what, I'm going to have the BBC broadcast the fucking trial afterwards.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and we have. So
Oh,
let's
yeah?
see how this plays out in
When is
January.
the trial?
It's the 9th of January,
Oh,
and I've got the
nice.
BBC covering it. So
Nice.
the good luck covering your bullshit.
Yeah.
Good luck covering your corrupt bullshit, because it clearly shows in this trial I was targeted because the evidence the cop is saying, the arresting officer
Yeah.
is saying is Michael was seen smoking a cannabis spliff. Funny because on your video it's going to say, Michael, there's a cannabis mark on you. At no point did you say I was seen smoking a spliff
Yeah,
driving a
so
fucking
now they're
van.
making up
So you're making your shit
false
up.
evidence.
Yeah, evidence will be getting pulled apart, love, in court,
Yeah.
and the reason you're not going to court is because you fucking know that if you were on
Yeah.
that dock, your
You
evidence
should
will
have
be getting pulled
to,
apart.
should have to fucking, what's it, swear
Yeah,
in, and
she'd
then
have to
everything she
swear in,
says
yeah.
is liable.
Yeah,
I mean, that's bullshit. Like, okay, I'm going to swear on a paper book from 2,000 years ago.
Yeah,
Like, that's going to make me tell the truth
It's
now.
always wondering, do they make different religions swear on different books?
Well, I'm
or is it-
pagan,
Yeah.
so I can't swear on your shit anyway.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's what I
swearing
mean,
on that.
like,
I'll spit on it.
fucking-
Yeah, but do you do it anyway? Do you
Every time I've had to go in, I've told them straight, I'm not touching that. I'll
Yeah.
enter under myself, or under my, but I am fucking touching
Yeah,
that.
I don't know what that piece of paper, that means something to me, like, you know
All
what
I
mean?
know
But-
is, from what I do know of the church, they're a pack of paedophiles.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all I've
that's what I
heard.
do know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
I
like,
know that for sure.
I'm not going to touch a book that endorses it. And also, I'm not against religion.
Yeah.
Right? I am a pagan, but I'm not. I can't condone a book where, like Stephen Fry said, babies born with cancer, women getting raped, all the fucking bullshit that's in the world.
Oh man, it's a
And you want me
horror
to
story in the
fucking-
Bible, like.
Yeah.
You want me to
Yeah.
get down and bow on my
Yeah,
knees and
and
take
beg for
my
mercy.
fucking...
Somebody
Yeah.
else's plan.
It's not pretty.
Yeah.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
It's fucking.
It's fucking savagery, and like
it's mental.
to have that done under the cover of God, and like under some, I believe God exists. I believe a creator. Whether you want to call him Allah, God,
Yeah,
call him
something
fucking
bigger.
Jehovah,
Yeah,
whatever the
a
fuck you
higher
want to call
power
him,
of some sort.
Lucifer. Let's
Yeah.
call him whatever the fuck we want
Oh,
to call
John,
him.
if you want,
Yeah.
like.
Anything you want,
Yeah.
anything you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
My issue is that Catholic Church, or the actual like that whole basis of the paedophilia that's attached to it. That should be abolished.
Yeah,
The
no,
church
but-
should be abolished. It's a tarnished fucking
Even
thing.
that, look at the amount of money they take in every year.
Yeah.
They could
Own the
end
most
world
land in the
hunger
world.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just even go take the Vatican to cash the gold and you'll
Yeah.
end world hunger, you know what I mean? Let alone all the cash.
Now, actually,
don't
I've
pay
had my
tax.
video taken or photograph taken with the Archbishop of somewhere.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've got it on my. It's on my
It's on
Instagram, innit?
Is he a
Insta,
customer, is he?
No, he wasn't. But we had a chat about Holy United Oil, and he agreed that it could be medical. It would have been
Oh, yeah.
cannabis that was used. You
That's
know
what
I
we,
mean?
what was
And
the three wise
Archdeacon
men,
did,
bro?
The deacon did as well. Do you know what I mean? When I was
Yeah.
chatting to the deacon, but yeah, I'm not against. Like, I'm not saying every fucking vicar or priest is a.
Yeah, no,
paedophile,
of
I mean.
course not,
What
but
I'm
like
saying
it's
is, there's so much belief and faith put in this book.
yeah,
No.
that was wrote
You're
2,000
telling me,
years
like-
ago by a prophet.
He hasn't, but
It's-
hypothetically,
yeah.
he's killed 17 people. We've
Yeah.
got him on the dock. We know for a fact he's killed them.
And
Puts his hand on this book here now, and he can say, "I didn't do it."
Yeah,
No,
that's it.
yeah.
Oh, well,
Oh, we must believe him, so.
No, no, no.
He's
He's
touched
touched, he's scoring under
Yeah.
the...
How many people?
Yeah.
do that,
Yeah.
Well, it's how many people have died in name of
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Oh,
stop
yeah,
because of
yeah,
it.
Religion causes
Yeah,
so
Most
much.
war is
War's
because of it.
still going
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
because of it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's,
well,
it's,
today,
it's,
innit?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's madness.
Yeah.
It's mental,
I
like,
don't
yeah.
understand. I can't get my
Well,
head
and
around
that's like, it's just, I can't. There's literally no proof. They're like, oh, somebody, a prophet, like seen it 2,000 years ago. Like that's just a guy with a good imagination.
There's
You know what I mean?
much
That's a guy that
evidence,
can tell a good
like,
story
aliens
2,000
and
years ago.
Santa Claus.
If Stan Lee was born 2,000 years ago, we'd be worshipping the Avengers now. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
come up with this idea, and it was all to do with the sun and the stars and all. Like you know what I mean? It's pretty much just
It's
that.
But it's
Yeah,
like that
pretty much.
spaceology and that. Do you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
literally was just made up.
Yeah,
by some
that's
random
it, dude.
guy. So
I've
like,
seen-
just like all the other
there's a
ones,
great
it's
theory. Have you ever
innovative
seen
or
Zeitgeist?
whatever it is, it's
Have you ever seen
Zeitgeist,
Zeitgeist?
yeah.
They have a
Yeah.
great one, and they
Greatest
go
story
through
ever
like
told.
20, maybe 100 different religions, and they all have a version of born on this day,
Yeah.
son of a virgin, this,
Yeah.
this, and so many, and it's literally just they looked at the sun.
For each
at this time
generation,
it
it's
stopped
just a
and all this.
reverbalization, isn't it? Back
Yeah.
out to the masses, no, like to
That's
keep them
it.
in
Someone just
control.
wrote a story on what they've seen every day, and someone goes, "That's true, that." You know what I mean? And
It's like changes in
yeah.
time, and then you get
Yeah.
what you get today. Do you know
Yeah.
what
but
I
like, I
mean?
just can't believe everybody believes it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. It's just
Like how
mental
many
to me.
people have added like their own little bit to it? Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Through the time,
And they
like,
pick and
like-
choose what they want. You know what I mean?
we'll
The stuff
just
that
take
suits
that
them from the
out, put that
Bible. You know what I
back
mean?
in, you
Because
know,
if they
it's
all
like-
followed the Bible to a T, nobody would do half the
Yeah,
shit
No,
they
that's
do.
not
Can't do
true.
now,
It's
can
you?
not.
know what I
It's
mean?
not. It's not been updated in 2000
No,
years.
that's
has
it. They
So, like,
choose what's. Oh no, that's an old thing.
What
You know what I
about
mean?
the
This we
Vatican's-
listen to.
Vatican's fucking hidden Bible chapters and all the fucking
Oh,
scrolls
yeah.
and shit. No, like, so we pick and choose what's more relevant for the people of its
Yeah,
time.
what works for us
And,
now?
like,
You know what I
then
mean?
what's the shit about the Bible according to King John or whatever? Like,
Yeah.
so the Bible according to King Tom or King
Yeah,
Adrian.
his
or
his
King
one wasn't a
Michael.
big seller,
Yeah.
so we don't watch
No,
that.
like,
or don't
yeah,
listen
do
to
you
that
know what I
anymore.
mean?
Yeah,
The
it's
Bible, I
mental.
didn't like that bit, so I'll change this bit. Do
I
you know
only
what
seen a thing the other day.
Director's cut, innit?
Yeah, in New York City, they have this metal wire that goes from building to building all around most of the city in the middle. And it's because Jewish people on a Saturday aren't allowed to do any sort of work. They can't, like when they leave the house, they can't have
Only allowed so many
Key-
steps or
something like this,
that,
but they're not allowed to even have their keys. They're not allowed to make their own food. But this wire acts as like basically a symbol of they're still inside their house. So
Right.
for like a couple of like
Oh, I've seen it.
10,
Yeah,
20
yeah.
square mile block, once there and it like
So
a
they
rabbi.
can get like day stuff done.
Yeah,
sort
and a
of thing,
rabbi
isn't it?
goes around every Thursday to check that the wire is still connected to make sure. And for like a couple of 100 years, this has just been a symbol of you're inside your house once you're inside
Yeah.
this circle. Like
Mental, isn't
mental,
it?
like it's fucking.
People
That's-
just
that's-
buy into
And
mental
that's
belief.
it. A book from 2,000 years ago, and you've come up with a modern solution. We can't leave our house. We'll put a bit of cable around. Oh, that works. You know what I mean, it's.
Oh, why don't we just put a bit
It doesn't
quick?
make
Yeah,
sense
it's mad, isn't it?
that some
And
you
that's
believe
the way
this stuff.
around not having to break a rule
On a
in
Saturday
your
now, they
religion.
can move inside this perimeter without breaking the.
Why not just stick to it?
It doesn't
If
make-
you
I
believe
don't
it that
understand.
much,
Yeah,
just
you know what I
stick to
mean?
it, just be
I
like
just don't
that.
understand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not baiting on religion. It's
No,
just I don't
I
get
know,
it.
I'm not, like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
I was raised, although I'm Church of England, I was raised Roman Catholic just
Yeah, in
before anyone
Ireland
tries
it's
to hate
all
out
we're
the back.
raised by the church. You know what I mean?
I'm Church of England by baptism,
Yeah.
but my nana was Roman Catholic, so she used to take me all the time to Catholic church.
Yeah.
So, like, but when I got like, I always liked skulls and the dark side. Like, I was always drawn to that bit of darkness. And then
Yeah.
got a bit older, looked at Hinduism and a bunch of other religions, and
Okay.
just always fall back to like Satanism or paganism.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like just like not like hardcore Hollywood style.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
like,
You're not sacrificing
Yeah.
anybody, are you?
no, I don't need to sacrifice them. There's other ways.
Yeah.
The universe tends to always
They
give me
do
what
it
I need.
themselves,
Mate.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they've witnessed themselves, and I'm like, watch, and like it's mad the shit that
Yeah.
happens to people. I genuinely believe the universe looks after me, mate.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I believe that.
I
100%.
don't. I believe that we're just random bacteria on a floating
I
rock.
used to
You
think
know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I used to think
Glorified
that, but
bacteria.
I do like ritualistic things. You know, like if I want
Yeah.
a certain result, I will like. So my sacrifices aren't sacrifice of body and life,
Yeah.
but it'd be like I'll give up. Now I've gotten out of sacrifice no more. But at the time it used to be I'll quit nicotine.
Okay.
I'll quit but I've quit nicotine now.
Yeah.
I'll quit caffeine for so
Yeah.
long.
You're
or-
not quitting weed anytime soon.
No, I'll keep the weed unless I
Not
really
for
need to
that.
kill someone, and then like I'll quit the weed and let them die, please.
Yeah.
But no.
That's a Hail Mary
Yeah,
for,
like,
for
I've
an
got
emergency
that for
situations.
emergencies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never had touch wood.
So that's what you think if you give something or make a change in your life as a sacrifice that you can make something
I've
happen or
seen mad shit happen, right? I would
Yeah.
ask if she was here, she'd tell you. Like where my altar is, it can be red hot. The house can be 24 degrees, and there's a cold draft constantly coming from where this altar is, and it's in a sealed room in a sealed wardrobe again. Yeah, and it's mad.
yeah.
Right? But like I treat it with mad respect, like mad respect. There's no photographs of it on out there that I know of. No, like on out. And it's something that I've had for about 15 years, so it's got intimate bits.
And what is it?
Just an altar that I give thanks to. It's a
Okay.
sun and the moon and all like
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
thanks. It's very hippie, like paganistic ways.
Yeah.
A little bit of the devil mixed in there because I like a bit of flash.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like it's nothing like.
Yeah, it's not too
Like,
crazy.
I think look if you look at my jewelry, like it tells you a little bit about like how I am in terms
Yeah.
of like what I like. But in
Is
terms,
paganism kind of like Norse?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
my dog's
kind-
Odin.
yeah, no, I see,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
the
And the axe as
Yeah,
well,
yeah, that's why I dressed up as Fat Thor as Halloween, so I have a picture of me as Thor and with the dog Odin, so yeah.
Yeah, so I believe in all, like,
Yeah,
I'm not, don't knock any religion down.
I've looked that up, that's called, or, what's it, I can't remember, there's some weird name for the religion, because I was always going, if I'm ever asked what religion I am, I'm just going to put that down, whatever the Norse one was, there's a name for it, but yeah, that's my religion now.
I
I'm
always
not a
just
religion,
put
but I'm just going to pick Norse.
Paganism,
I
but
believe
it's
in
not
Odin.
paganism what I follow. It's like a mix of a little bit of like, I used to call it spiritual Satanism,
Okay.
right? Because like the core rules of Satanism what I follow isn't like the live-in Satanism. It isn't like if a man fucking bothers you, destroy him with all your might and all that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Man was if you destroy someone, you build them up to be bigger than what they were. Like it was always like if you destroy something, you build it up to be better and to be bigger.
Yeah.
You're the master of your universe.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everything that's in your universe, from people like your family or anything that means the world to you, that's your universe. If someone upsets the rotation of that universe and the things, the balance that's in it,
Yeah.
it's down to you as the master of your
fix it.
universe to fix that.
Yeah.
We're all in charge of our own universes and our own galaxies and our own worlds.
Yeah.
And once you master that, true happiness does come, mate.
Yeah,
like,
no,
my life
I
was
get that in a
fucked
way, yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
I started throwing myself hardcore into this belief and this like genuine belief, bro.
Yeah.
And I believe in it. And like I said, I've had dates with women years ago when I was single that I should never had dates with, bro.
Yeah.
Like models from shit and that where I'd be like, there's no way that I'm gonna speak to her randomly.
Yeah.
And like they'd phone up and order a pizza from a pizza shop, random as fuck, and I'd be like, you know what I mean? Just like weird shit, you know what I mean?
Stuff
where,
you
like,
kind of
could
just put
bet
out in the
money.
world and it comes
Yeah,
back.
and I had no interest in being with these people. It was just like random tests, like this is working.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
know what I
like,
mean? I thought of that.
can
It's
I
like,
have
it's like
this?
Facebook listening to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So over the years, I've just like homed in and tuned in on that so much more. Where like if I say that it's happening and I
Yeah.
believe in my heart it's happening, doesn't matter who's telling me no. I already know it's already answered, and now I'm like, it's you just don't realise.
Yeah.
But this is where it's going to be. It's going to happen. I never used to have that much belief
Yeah.
in myself, mate. But
Like-
I believe in myself more than I believe in.
Yeah, but I get
anything.
that. I think that's just belief. I don't think that's universe.
To
and
a
stuff.
greater
It's kinda-
universe, I'd say that.
Yeah.
But like I said, with having the altar and the giving thanks and the thing, I've witnessed
It's like,
certain
do you
shit.
believe in fate? Like stuff happens for a reason and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? So for me,
I
that's
think
kind
there's
of
multiple outcomes.
for me. That's giving all the credit to fate for everything I've done.
No, because
everything I've done is because I made them decisions.
you did.
It's not. It's
but you
not.
had the option to also
wasn't
make
gonna
a
happen
fuck
anyway.
decision, bro.
No, I get that, but it was. Other people are like, oh, that was always going to happen, or that was destined to
No,
happen.
'cause how
I'm
many
like, no, I
timelines do
made
we
this
have?
happen.
Yeah.
Don't give fate my credit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm after working hard to
Well,
do
that
this.
was
you know what
always
I
your
mean?
fate.
Yeah, but that's again, that was it's like let's say I was always going to live in Amsterdam and have a podcast.
No
Like
matter
then
what
why
you
don't I
did,
just sit in
you
my
were
man's
always gonna
house
end
till
up
that
there.
happens? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but
No,
what
I
about-
actually went and done it and made it happen. It wasn't fate; it was me. You know what I mean? It's
Which I do accept that to a
What about
degree.
all the other versions of you that didn't
Didn't,
Make
you
it,
know what I
and I
mean?
still
So-
sat at home on the
but-
sofa and stuff.
but,
still-
but if it was
yeah.
fate, it would have happened for them as well, no matter what way they did
And
it.
it wasn't
so
fate
it
for
wasn't.
them.
No,
It wasn't
no.
their fate.
It was-
That's
yeah,
just
yeah.
giving fate
And then
credit
it
for
gives you
something
a
I did.
paradox, though, doesn't it?
No,
where-
I don't believe
so-
in all that. I believe I done it.
So
I
I don't
chose
believe
it.
in
No
fate
universe,
as
no
a
fate.
such. I believe it's always going to be my ended destiny. Yeah?
Yeah.
So I believe in destiny over fate, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be a better word.
Yeah.
Now I believe that, like, as I've seen with the club over the years, I'm often presented with a fork in the road
Yeah.
or like a T junction
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And I have multiple options, and what I make at that time, the decision I make, impacts the future.
Yeah. Of
that's
course.
gonna-
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, it's the universe that always makes that call, bro. No, like,
Well, it's kind of like you were saying earlier. You don't want to expand until it's easy. Like I do that. Like I've been thinking about this podcast literally 4 years, but until it's simple, until I can do it without really,
Yeah.
I say minimum effort. I like something that's just, you know what I mean. It can just add it to your day to day
Yeah.
without disrupting it too much. You know what I mean? So. I appreciate that, but I think it's good to wait until, instead of going, oh, if we really put all this effort in, take this risk and all, I'm like, fuck it, just wait. See until
Yeah.
you're ready, think about it, add this bit, be ready, you know what I mean?
I'm
So-
always a dipper toe in the water. I won't put like all in. I won't
Yeah.
put all in like. And once I've got that feeling of like, no, this is the right call.
Yeah,
I'm all
yeah,
in.
no, that's it.
If I feel
But-
like that, I feel like there's something greater behind me.
Yeah,
I'm all in.
yeah,
You know
no,
what I
I
mean?
get that. Once you go, but you've thought about it to the level of every angle. You know what I mean?
But I'm
This,
an
that,
overthinker.
yeah,
I'm a
so am
huge
I. That's
overthinker.
it. Like,
So
I'm,
like I've thought of like I've said to Adrian when he started coming to work to the club and his own little anxieties and stuff. Obviously,
yeah,
I was like I've been there, Brian. Understand where you're coming from
Yeah.
because everything you can possibly think of, I've thought of.
yeah.
I'll
Oh
be
no,
like-
of course.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
Like, even I was saying about you with my own cannabis club, I've thought about that 10 years.
Yeah,
Before I lived in
yeah,
Amsterdam,
yeah.
I'm like, if I have a club, I'm going to have the thing here.
Well, I'd
You know,
never
I
give
mean,
it
I'm
no
planning the
thought.
paints in the wall, you know what I mean? I've
until
literally planned
randomly,
every
but
inch
that
of it.
was a weird thing, like I said,
Yeah.
just to come out of that fucking. I never thought 2013, mate, walking out of that fucking club in fucking Spain,
Yeah,
that I was gonna come back and genuinely have a bricks and mortar club. That
Yeah,
was what
no.
I'm gonna have the mad press attention and the fucking like the notoriety that we've garnished over the years.
Yeah.
Like I just. You couldn't make it up. You couldn't. If they'd have said to me, "You've got a chance of this happening or a chance of that happening, what are you going to go with?" I'd have put all my money on the other.
yeah, no.
You know
of
what I mean?
course,
Like
yeah.
that's fucking.
Yeah,
never
that's the
happening.
only one that could happen,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Here, I have to go to work soon, so we're going to have to call it a day
Yeah,
soon. So,
yeah.
thank you
Fine.
so
Yeah,
much
no
to the
worries,
lads
man.
from Teeside. The fairy had to nip out, so she's gone at the moment. Thank you so much, guys. We really have to come over and check
We'll
out the
have to have a
club,
catch-up,
100%. Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
You need to come on our podcast,
Yeah, no,
which won't be
definitely.
as professional as yours.
Ah,
'Cause
I'm
we'll have
sure
done
it'll be
about
just as
5
good.
or 6 by then, I
Oh,
imagine.
yeah. Nice. No, we'll definitely come over to check out the club. So, Michael, Tom, yeah,
Adrian.
and Adrian. I was
You
going to
get
say
so
Andre.
many people, mate. You deal with so many people. It's hard to remember the
stop,
faces.
man, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Appreciate you having
thank
us.
you so much. If you're still watching, like and subscribe and all that stuff. And yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you very much.